she has recommended that we, for the first time ever, this is our first time, for the first time ever, we do a two question or like a multi-question prompt. Okay, so now we have two different subjects because we have so we I want y'all to understand we get so many different requests that we just don't have the time really to because our lives can go on 2, 3, sometimes even longer hours. We've been on here for one time like 5 hours almost. So we get a lot of requests and there's some things that we wanted to discuss. Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Hello. Let me see. Hold on. So the prompt we have agree or disagree. You can come up and you can speak on the first question. Can black people be racist? We had a live stream on that before. And oh my bad. Carmelo Anthony's choose his PR lineage, okay, Puerto Rican lineage over his FBA heritage during the award ceremony. So these are topics that we want to really get into. So we're trying to see, how a multi-choice thing will go, and we're just going to kind of go with the flow of the evening or whatnot. So my stance, can black people be racist? We already know that was my stance. I did a live on that Sunday. Went really well. So that's the subject that we want to circle back to. Let me see. Did live on that Sunday subject we want to circle back to. Carmelo Anthony choosing his PR lineage over his, I say PR, his Puerto Rican lineage over his FBA heritage. Now, that's something that I haven't spoken on, so I'm going to give a quick stance on that, and then we're going to kind of get the room started. We already got a decent amount of people in this room, so y'all come up. Y'all agree or disagree with any of the prompts, y'all come up. We're going to have a good discussion this evening, all right? We're going to have a great conversation this evening. So the situation with Carmelo Anthony, the basketball player, he got an award. Good for him. And during his award, he gave a shout out to his Puerto Rican side. Now, mind you, he's not full Puerto Rican. It's only half. He's half Puerto Rican, but you couldn't tell that the way he was up there talking. You couldn't tell that. The way he was up there and he was going off, you would think he was full-fledged Puerto Rican. You would think he was born and raised in Puerto Rico. And this is something that we had to take back. We had to stand back and take note of, because we also had a conversation about bi-ethnics, people with dual lineages. And we said that, okay, there's too often people with dual lineages, they like to have one foot in and one foot out when it comes to whichever lineage, I guess, best suits them. Whichever lineage they want to ride with that day, they can pick whatever lineage. Okay, so if you want to talk about reparations, you can ride with your foundational Black American lineage. If you want to talk about like an award, or you think that makes you, I think him stating he was Puerto Rican is like some type of rags to riches story. I think if he thought it was like that, or I think if he thinks it makes him more special, he might think it makes him more exotic. I don't know what he was thinking or whatever the case is, but he gave full credit to his Puerto Rican side of the family. And this is something that we're saying. Y'all be having these allegiances to your foreign side of y'all family, even though when you growing up, he wasn't raised with his Puerto Rican family. He wasn't raised by his Puerto Rican family. It's not like he was raised celebrating their holidays, eating their food, listening to their music, participating in their culture. He wasn't. Yet you couldn't tell by the way he tries to represent himself. So this is one of the things when it comes to bi-ethnics, the way that y'all, and not all, because I know some people going to be like, not me, but not all, but the way that some bi-ethnics like to come in and represent their foreign side. And we can also talk about Zoe Zaldana. Now, I think she's she's non-FBA. I think she might be Puerto Rican or Dominican or something to that effect too. She won an award at the Oscars earlier this year. And boy, it was Afro-Latina. It was Latina. Okay? You could, what, I'm going to do the chimmy what's that thing called, the shaker thing? I forgot what it's called. I don't know what it's called. It was the I'm talking about it was Latina.
Maracas, I
What's it
think.
called, BX? What's it called?
Maracas.
Maraca, that's what
Maracas.
it's called.
Yeah.
I mean, you would, that's the way you would think, the way she was doing it. Maraca, I forgot. I'm not Hispanic. Shit, come on, I forgot. But I'm like, okay, that's interesting though, because when we say, okay, well, there's a difference. Fine, you're a Latina. That's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with Latina heritage and you being proud of that. There's nothing wrong with Puerto Rico or you being proud about being Puerto Rican. There's nothing wrong with that. That's where you're from. You can't help. Well, Carmelo Anthony, not really, but that's where you're from. You can't help that. That's not your fault. And wear that with some pride and dignity, but don't cosplay after the fact, and now you want to hide your immigrant background, and then you want to be just this black thing, and we all supposed to be universally black when it benefits y'all, but then when y'all want to be y'all own special ethnicity and heritage, then y'all get to highlight that. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Because now when we talk about, we want to see black American in particular heritage put on the forefront, folks be acting dumb. Folks be acting obtuse. Folks be all like, I don't understand. Why does it even need to be like that? Sounds divisive. I don't want to, nobody called Carmelo Anthony divisive. Okay. Nobody called Zoe Zeldana divisive. When they get up there and they talk about, I got this award because I'm Nigerian and this is my culture. I got this award because I'm Haitian, I'm Liberian, I'm Kenyan, I'm this, I'm that. Nobody calls none of that divisive. So when we say we want Essence to be about our culture, I don't want nobody to talk about, well, that kind of sounds a little divisive. I don't know if we need to separate the diaspora. That sounds like a diaspora. Well, no. Everything we do when we try to have our own moment to about our culture in our homeland, mind you, to our culture, y'all be the first ones like, that sounds a little, that, why don't we need the diaspora war? They do it, it's not a diaspora war, it's pride. When we do it, it's a diaspora war. And we shouldn't do it. It's taboo, we shouldn't do it. It's wrong, it's bad. They say it's peddling YT supremacist talking points when we do it. Only when we do it. Okay? So we're about to get the conversation started. I'm gonna start off with ZZ, and then I'm gonna get her stances on the first two things, and then BX will set the room, and we will start letting people in this conversation. We about to have a good one, y'all.
Peace. What's up, BX? How you doing?
Hi, ZZ. You look amazing today.
Thank you so
You're
much. I
here.
appreciate that. Afro, good to see you again so soon.
Oh
We got,
yes indeed, yes indeed.
because we know
Yeah,
we
I'm
just.
talking about I like your hair. I mean your edges. They are
Oh,
laid.
thank
Because I
you. I
didn't notice
appreciate
that. I thought you had, you know how they do the finger waves, but that's a head tie. Okay.
that.
Beautiful. I
Thank you so
like it.
much. I appreciate that, darling. But yes, good to be here. I'm mad I missed that last live. Black people be racist? Man, I don't even got to say too much about that because you already know. I'm sure I'm going to say something similar to what your stance was, which is hail to the null. Not possible, impossible. Under a system of YT supremacy, only one can reign supreme. That is the definition of supreme. So, in order to attach yourself to that supremacy, you would have to be able to be racist. We can't do that. So yeah, it's literally like it doesn't make sense to even think that. It's like walking outside and saying the sky is purple. It's impossible. So yeah, no, definitely not. Black people cannot be racist. Now, this thing with Carmelo Anthony, I actually seen a clip of that. Very interesting. Because I had no idea he was Afro Latina. I didn't even know he identified as Afro Latina. So that kind of tripped me about by itself. But then to hear him go as far as say is, oh, PR gave me soul and PR gave me home. I'm like, what is he talking about? Because first of all, soul is Black American. That's Black American language right there. So you definitely couldn't have got no soul from nowhere else but us. Number two, how did you get a home from PR and you grew up here in Baltimore and Brooklyn? You grew up over here. So how did you get home from Puerto Rico outside of that little tattoo on your hand, because you damn sure ain't over in PR. You didn't play for no Puerto Rican team. You played over here in the States. So it's like that's where this bi-ethnic thing really trips me up, and that's where the major issue lies with bi-ethnic children or bi-ethnic people, is because you ride in this fence, and then when you get to this pinnacle, or you get to a point where you want to give thanks back to your communities, you don't give it back to the community that was actually there. You're only popular, the person that you are, this amount of support, because of Black America. Black America is the reason why you're a worldwide name, why Puerto Ricans rock with you, not because of Puerto Rico. So it's like, give credit where it's due, but they want to give credit to that other side just to other themselves. And it's like, and then you want to do it at this point. Like, again, I'm not saying that he hasn't claimed Afro-Latino and given this much praise to his Puerto Rican side before, but it's just a little weird that now you're doing this at the end of towards the end of your career, at you're getting this what do you get, the Hall of Fame award? It's like, and then you give that moment to Puerto Rico, not the people that you grew up with, that was stood beside you, that grew with you, that helped your career. That feels a little off-putting. So yeah, ignorance, outrage, everything was Wayne. Not rocking with it.
Yeah. All right. Yes, absolutely. Yes, indeed. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set the room, just because this is gonna be on the playback on YouTube. I don't want this to be kind of too wild. So when you come up, state exactly, because feel free to come up. When you come up, state which prompt you're gonna be speaking on. All right. So that way, on the playback, people can understand exactly what the situation is. People can understand that. All right. But BX, can you please set the decorum of the room, and we're gonna get the conversation started.
Okay. Can I answer number 2 real fast before we do
Oh
that?
yeah,
So
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I seen the comments that Puerto Ricans were saying. Okay, so someone said Puerto Ricans were saying Carmelo Anthony is not one of them. So Carmelo Anthony, I did a little surface level digging. Carmelo, please mute blessings. Carmelo was born in New York, and everything about him gave me New York Rican. Right? What I mean by this. Sometimes they will tell you I'm not black, but then be black because they're giving you pushback when you tell them you don't want to hear the N word.
Mm-hmm.
When they're trying to latch onto the culture as far as who started hip hop, just little things like, well, that's not little, but just things like that. Then they're, oh, I'm black. I'm black. But everything about him to me, I said, oh, he pulling that New York Rican. I know what he doing. And what everybody was missing to me was that was Carmelo Anthony asserting his position in the African diaspora, which Afro-Latinos are a part of, right? Because they have some descendancy from Africa, versus FBA. So he was just giving his position on where he stood in the whole hip hop and Puerto Ricans in the black community. That's the way I took it, and I wrote it on Twitter, and I think I tagged you in a post, Afro Elite. And New Yorkers, black New Yorkers, FBA agreed with me. We knew exactly what he was up to, what he was doing, but here's what I found out. His father unalived when he was young, and everybody like outside of New York was like, well, he didn't grow up in a Puerto Rican household, but the community of Puerto Ricans probably was giving him a little bit of culture, because when they hear that you are Puerto Rican, they will treat you different. He's melanated like me and my children, right? But the fact that he has some Puerto Rican descendancy, or maybe even speak Spanish, even if he was raised by a black mom, they would favor him. So what I found out is that he's been doing a lot of things for the island of Puerto Rico. Meanwhile, he's been telling everybody else he was black and riding the black wave. So now people are upset from New York and wondering who told him to make that tether move. And that is a quote that I found on Twitter. So I think he played both sides of the fence. But yesterday, or whenever he did the award show, he went ahead and asserted which way his allegiance was. Also, he did acknowledge his mother, but not FBA, or her being FBA. He acknowledged her as a mother who raised him without giving her, my ancestors' blood and my ancestors did this in this land and this and that, the way that he did with Puerto Rico. And that's where I really have a problem with.
Yeah.
Because if you did that for your father, you should have did that for your mother, right?
Mm-hmm.
because he moved to Baltimore when he was 8. So anyway, you look at it. I didn't see him living or being raised in Puerto Rico, but he was raised here in the land that his FBA ancestors built, that they unalive for here on this land. So I just think it's a matter of not giving her proper credit in the ancestry that he came from, the same way that he did with his father. But that's to be expected. Now we're aware, because we never had a reason to look at him differently before. We're aware that he's a tether. I'm gonna just say that he's a bi-ethnic who's tetherish.
Okay, can I jump in real quick?
Hold
Okay,
on,
wait,
hold
wait.
on,
I'm
hold
gonna
on,
set
hold
the
on,
room.
hold
I'm
on,
gonna
hold
set the
on,
room. I'm gonna set the room.
hold
I
on.
just wanted to give that in so that everybody else could give their responses without me jumping in and saying, "Oh, wait, let me say this." So when you come on the panel, immediately go on mute until directed to speak. When directed to speak, please lead with your ethnic group. If you're over 18, you do not have to give us your pronouns unless you want to, but it's not a requirement here. If you look up and you see the orange heart, which I know you're going to see, click it, complete the daily missions, so that can help keep Afro Elite in the algorithm and improve the rankings. Also, be sure to claim. After you complete the mission, it's going to say claim a certain amount of points. Make sure you claim it because it'll help unlock certain sticker features and stuff like that. So I want us to use TikTok friendly language only. If you are unsure of how to say a word that you couldn't say to a 5-year-old, spell it out. We'll get it. So you have to say things like shmurda, unalive, self-deletion, strange fruit, hard candy, so on and so forth. I want to go back to the ethnicity. Race is unconstitutional in the state of America, right? So we're leading by ethnic group. So when I say what's your ethnic group, this is what I mean. I'm an African American / Black American, but I culturally identify as a foundational Black American. What that means for me or people who are of my lineage is that our ancestors were here during our emancipation period of 1863 to 1865 and can be found on the 1870 census. If your ancestors does not fit that criteria, then you are not a Black American, nor should you identify as such. The reason why you can't identify as an African American is because we're also a reclassified people. And that is our last reclassification, foundational Black Americans, because somebody's going to come in and say, what's the FBA? What that means is that we're giving a resistance to our government. We are tired of being reclassified. We know who we are, and it embodies every aspect of our, not only our previous reclassifications, but it denotes and it makes a distinction that our ancestors built this country. So Afro-Caribbean cannot migrate here and think they're Afro-American because they did not, their ancestors didn't build this country, right? So it's our lineage. It's not a group. It's not an organization. So, for instance, if your ancestors don't meet that criteria, and it is a legal framework that has already been set and in place, so this is not something we're making up. Then your family, if you are Jamaican American, Nigerian American, Haitian American, wherever your parents' country of origin is from, or even your grandparents, that's where you're from. If you are bi-ethnic, meaning you have a foundational Black American parent and maybe a Caribbean parent or an African, parent, anyway, I know it's 54 countries, then you are bi-ethnic, and we are cool with that. Just tell us your parents, the non-FBA parents, heritage so that we can put things in its proper perspective. Also, Afro Latinos. Please don't get up here and argue with me that you are Black like me. You're not. You are a descendant of Africa. You are not Black in the concept of America. That's me. That's our household. An Afro-Latino household is different than a Black American household. So we're not taking away your African descendancy. What we're saying is we're not the same. We're cultured differently. We're just different. And proximity does not mean same. So please, New York, don't come up here talking about we the same. I grew up around Black. No. Okay? You are Afro-Latina and be proud of that. But please don't try to erase my people or my culture. Thank you, Ale.
All right. So we understand what we need to be doing. Let's get to
Can I go
Bless.
on? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the noise. I'm outside. I agree with everything she just said. I identify myself as an indigenous, copper color Indian American, aka Black American. I did my genealogy, and I went as far back as 1560 with not even trying. If I try deep down, I probably can go further than that. Um, okay, first question. Can black people be racist? No, we can't. We don't make the laws. We don't control the government. So no, that's my answer. Two, about Carmelo Anthony. You know what? I look at a different point. He lost his father at a young age, and he worshiped his dad, and he's proud of his Puerto Rican heritage. I didn't take it as a slap in the face to Black America. I took it as him trying to express his deep love and affection for his dad and paying respect for his dad's heritage. And don't take away from what his mother. I believe he does of his mother because he said that. And he didn't mention Black America because it's already evident. We know he's from here. He was here all his life. I'm from Baltimore. He's from here too. And from New York. And so I don't look at him being a tether. I don't look at him being a traitor. I look at him being a man who know his roots and who respects both people. I don't think, like I said, his father is not here. If you lost a parent at 2, 3, whatever age he was when he lost his dad, it carries a hole in your heart. And that's his way of filling that hole, giving the love that he didn't get from his dad because his dad was gone. So I respect him for that. As far as him not saying anything about Black America, I think he did. I think we all know. He don't have to call out us because he does it every day being here. He can pack up his bags and go over there. He donate. He does everything over here to Baltimore. He does a lot of stuff for New York. He has a lot of groups that he donate to and that he give his time and money to. And he, when he went to, I think he went somewhere and had the Puerto Rico flag. That was his way of letting the world know, hey, I am Puerto Rican, but I am this too. But I'm gonna show my other side. I have no problem with people who are half and half to show that other side. I mean, I'm not half, but if I was half Puerto Rican or half Jamaica, damn right, I'm express my other side. So I have no problem with that. Just like you have biracial people who want to call out their other side. But he didn't turn his back on Black American people. So I don't think that's right. We go and take it too far sometimes. Our feelings get hurt and we just take it too far. And I respect him. He gave a great speech and he's a represented person of the Black community. He hold his head high. He's a good role model. He never did anything wrong. And so we're going to hang him because he did a 10-minute speech. I don't think that's right. That's all I got to say about it. I don't think that's right.
All right, everybody, let's tap the screen. Everybody, let's tap the screen. And one of the things that's really good about these conversations is the fact that we allow other people with different opinions to come up. This is not an echo chamber. You don't have to agree with what we say. You don't have to agree with our stance. You can see the situation differently, and you clearly see the situation differently. Respectfully, you see the situation differently. And this is how mature adults communicate with each other. I mean, I can't get mad that you did not get offended. We can't get upset that you didn't get offended or that you didn't interpret it a different way. That's how you saw it, and there's nothing, I don't think that, given what you said, I don't think that there's anything wrong with acknowledging your father's side and trying to almost pay homage to your father. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If I could add something in hindsight, even I'm not him, my father's still here, so I know it's different. But in hindsight, he spoke on his father's family. He spoke on his father's ethnicity. He didn't speak necessarily on his father. And when you do that and you don't speak on your mother's ethnicity, like I said earlier, it seemed as if you were full Puerto Rican the way you were speaking. It seemed as if it was Puerto Rican. You didn't give at least equal credit to your mother's ethnicity, who was also, and let's gonna be honest, a bigger factor in your success than your father's ethnicity was. it would be one thing if he was like, yo, shout out to my father, shout out to Puerto Rico, shout out to this, shout out to that, shout out to my mother's side of the family, and have a balance with it. You know what I'm saying? But I get, you trying to make your father proud, and I think that that's honorable. I think that that's respectful. But I feel it could have been done in a way that didn't kind of wash over his mother's side of the ethnicity. But this is our stance on it. I don't think we're not hanging him. I'm not mad at him. I don't dislike him or wish him bad. We're not throwing stones at him or want him to be canceled. We're just acknowledging the fact that when it comes to specifying your ethnicity, it's fine for y'all to do it when you're not FBA. When you're not a Black American, it's fine for you guys to specify and highlight your ethnicity, okay? But when it's up to us, it's not okay. Now, if you rep whatever ethnicity you're gonna rep, but we're just giving commentary on it, and everybody can see it differently, so that's a good thing. All right.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, he should have said more about his mother's side. I do agree with you on that. So I just think we should. I mean, I'm not pointing no fingers at nobody. And somebody said, "Oh, he a role model. He had all, what he." I'm not getting his personal life. I'm not going to throw stones at the glass mirror. Everybody's not perfect. We get into this perfect thing that people talk about other people. It's a glass house. You need to look at yourself. Everybody has problems. You know what I mean? And I don't like that either. Why are you judging that man? I'm not perfect, but I mind my business. I don't be trying to make anybody what they did in their life feel like I'm better than them. That's all I gotta say. I just think he should acknowledge his mom. He did acknowledge her, but he should have said something about his mother's side too. So you're right.
Right. Can I say this, Afro? I'm sorry. I know I said I was going to try not to cut in, but sometimes the comments, I want to make this perfectly clear. I don't care about the boat stop, right? As an excuse. That's a talking point. Boat stops do matter. And how it matters is if you were dropped in Jamaica, then you are ethnically and culturally different than a Black American who has that ancestry and was enslaved or under the influence of the Brits and the Dutch. Okay? So I don't care. I eat sweet potatoes, y'all eat yuca. I don't care if you take those same sweet potatoes and make a pudding with it. Your pudding is going to have something that we don't have in ours. It's okay. It's okay to be Afro Latina and proud. And it's just perfectly fine to be Black American and proud. While some may have African descendancy, that's where the commonality stops. And I need for the guy in the chat, if he wants to come up and have the conversation with Afro, because I think Afro would be a little more level-headed to have it with you, because I feel like that contributes to our erasure, especially in a place like New York. Because when you give them one little millisecond or inch, they take them out. Ain't no way, shape, form, or fashion did a Puerto Rican create hip hop with us, right? But because they were in proximity, and we just said, "Oh, you dark skin, you must be Black, yeah." And now they think they run hip hop or they made hip hop. Like y'all have to learn how to respect Black Americans' autonomy. We have shared enough with you guys. And we are setting cultural boundaries. So when I say your household is different than mine, it is. I live next to a Latina, right? She could say she's Afro-Latina because her grandmother is heavily melanated. There's a difference in our households. Number one, she speaks Spanish in her house. Number two, she listens to Spanish music. Number three, even in the way we raise our children, she will allow her 5-year-old to jump off a refrigerator and mine would have been sitting over there scared to get popped. Okay? So y'all got to stop it. In your households, even if you're Afro-Latino and I'm a Black American and we're melanated the same, there are cultural and ethnic differences. Please stop latching on to us. We deserve our own autonomy. We can't keep sharing with y'all. These are cultural boundaries. We are different, and that's okay.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But getting to it, I might change the prompt in a little bit because I kind of now I'm kind of starting to feel the Carmelo Anthony situation. I'm starting to feel like that's probably where the conversation's gonna lead to anyway. So we might focus on that for a little bit, then switch back. Hold on.
Well, before you do, I'd like to say something about your current prompt, since I've been patiently waiting for the past half hour or so while people continuously repeat, to talk and things. I mean, do I get an opportunity to speak, or would you like me to just vacate the premises?
Well, where are you from? Hold on. Where are you from? You sound familiar. Have we spoken before?
I don't know. Probably you do look familiar. You sound familiar, and you seem to have a different, I guess, way of presenting yourself that I've seen across many of these types of communications and conversations across TikTok. You're more pleasant. You're more easier to communicate with. A lot of people are very, kind of, I don't know, hostile. It kind of seems like, So I appreciate your platform. So I did. I was scrolling by and I saw you, so I figured I'd stop and give a listen for a minute.
Okay. Is there something that you'd like to, or a particular
Yeah,
point
yeah,
you'd like to
yeah. Well, I'm just basically responding to your prompts. My name is Eric R. Benson. I'm an inventor, been around for a long time, done a lot of great things. I'm releasing some great stuff currently, but my family's been here since the 1500s, since the 16th century. And, I mean, I'm a basic study of religion and I guess English as a language and definitions of the various words and terms as we have used here in America for hundreds of years. And this topic, can black people be racist? I look at that keyword, which is racist, which comes from the keyword term racism. And that ism is simply a discrimination against people of a certain race. So I walk into a restaurant, it's filled with Indian people from India, and I smell curry. I don't particularly like curry. I don't like the spices. And maybe I don't particularly like Indian people for some reason. I turn around, I walk out. That is racism. It's not necessarily a bad thing or a good thing. It's just what it is. And so, can a black person be racist? Sure. I can walk into a place and not like it because it's full of YAT people, you guys call them now, right? And that in its of itself is racism. Now, there's a new thing that you guys are referring to, something about we don't have this power to be this and to change this and change that. That's a whole different term. And maybe collectively, people who support that can get together and come up with this new word that defines what you are redefining as racism. A racism in and of itself, it's simply people who discriminate against a certain race because of their race. Simple as that. That's racism. So can black people be racist? Yes. Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony, like my children are half black and half white, but they claim the black side, right?
Are you the white
Okay.
side? Are you the white side of the?
Oh, I'm black. I'm black
Oh,
from North Philly.
okay.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in North Philly. I'm the blackest of the blackest of the blickety black. Okay. But long and short is that,
Black. And
yeah, well,
immigrants are born in
I'm
Philly.
still talking. I
Are
don't
you Black
understand why people are talking
American
over me.
with
I
the
didn't talk over
connections to
you. Okay,
United
I don't
States
understand why
BX,
I
we'll
being
let
talked
him
over.
go. We'll let him.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Miss, person who wants to, just talk over everybody and interject whenever you feel like it.
Hey,
Thank you very
sir,
much. Yeah, as I
all of
said,
that
thank
wasn't
you very
necessary.
much.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Okay, I
Go
think you
ahead.
said enough. Carmela Anthony.
And I
Carmela
think
Anthony
that
Yeah,
this
is
is
we'll
Puerto
get
special
him.
Rican.
male
Yeah,
chauvinism.
BX, go get him.
disrespectful. You see what I'm saying?
BX.
You got these ignorant people on this thing, man. Anyway, Carmela Anthony has the right to claim the VMA Day as his Father's Day, okay? To come out and support his dad, okay? Right? On Father's Day, we give dad a tie. We don't go give mom a cake, okay? Just because we gave dad a tie or a pair of socks. On Mother's Day, we celebrate mom. We give her the world. She gets massages and foot and hair done and all that stuff. We don't talk about dad. This man has every single right to appreciate his Puerto Rican side just as much as he has the right to appreciate his mom's black side. And if he came out on the VMAs, a worldwide exhibition and award ceremony for the greatest of us in this country, and on that day he decided to honor his father, who's Puerto Rican, he has the full-on right to do that because he himself is Puerto Rican. Okay, and on other days he celebrates his mother, who is black, which I've never seen him celebrate his dad, to be quite. I followed
And
his career from the time he was a little boy. Okay. And I've never seen him celebrate his dad. So he's at every right to do that. And anyone who says otherwise, I mean, you need to have your head examined,
All right. But let me say something, okay? I want to start off. By saying you're a very disrespectful, rude, ignorant piece of shit. Okay? And I'm gonna block blocked the fuck
You
out.
fuck you, punk.
Okay, no.
You
The
broke ass
fact that you
motherfucker.
came here and you felt like you get to disrespect me and then disrespect my mod, you ignorant white snow bunny loving motherfucker, I can't. No, you're about to be blocked. Don't you dare think that you could ever do some stupid ass shit like that. My heart is beating fast right now.
Thank you,
Don't y'all ever do that shit again. All right.
Yeah, we needed
Dumbass,
that.
yeah, white people can be, yeah, because you got a white woman bending you over, okay, pegging your ass. So, of course, you don't think that people can be racist. Racism is not no individual bigotry. That's not what it is. You can tell who runs the situation. He comes up here because he wants to feel like a man. He wants to feel all tough and shit like that. He wants to feel like that because he doesn't feel like that at home. All right, we got to stop all. Come on now, come on now. I'm the blackity black black black. Can't tell. I can't tell, Jonathan Majors. Come on now. Don't do that. Don't do that. BX. I just wanted to say that before he left. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Afro. There's some, is it misogyny
Oh,
or
I be
male
so tired of
chauvinism? There was
that.
some chauvinism in
For
there
sure.
too. I didn't like the fact that he came up and when people start using words like, "Oh, you're so calm, you're so eloquent, you talk, you articulate yourself," like he was doing all those little things there. And what I'm tired of is people tone policing black people. We do have different mannerisms. So Afro Elite he is more calm. He is more even tempered. My passion overrides my sense to be calm because I don't understand how y'all can't get certain things. And I've been on this app for a while, saying the same thing. It's like I feel like I'm dumbing myself down talking to a certain demographics, and those demographics are outside of foundational Black Americans. Because we get it. See, conveniently, we can live in proximity to these other groups and know we are not these other groups. So I, as a foundational Black American, know that even though my neighbor is Latina from Puerto Rico, I am not Puerto Rican, right? I know that I'm not Mexican, right? So Black Americans get it, and I don't understand after being so vocal and explaining things to them, giving them examples. It's always I know, but. So my passion overrides me because y'all don't know what it feels like to be ethnocided. Y'all don't know what it feels like to be erased. Do y'all even remember there was an indigenous Black population in New York that built the city, the state, because there was enslavement there? Y'all don't even know that the Irish ran up in our orphanage and harmed women and children, but everybody's running around here talking about gingers. Y'all don't even know there was Weeksville and Sandy Ground. Like, I don't know a lot of things. And I'm watching the Caribbeans coming in erase us, but that's who I socialize the most. So that's who I'm going to go against the hardest. Why? Because I know there's good in the Caribbean things that would never, when they hear my pain, they're going to get it. I know there's good Latinas, right? There's there's one in the chat. That's Terry. She gets it. She's from New York. And out of all things, she's Dominican. And Dominicans have been known to be very anti-Black. They are the ones that say, I know Black, I know Black. And we made jokes about that. So y'all don't understand what it feels like to be a race, so you can never understand where I'm coming from, and that's why y'all think I'm angry and stuff. That's why he said I was ignorant. He's laying with a whitey woman, talking about he's blackity blackity black. I don't think you could be pro-Black and date outside your race. Why? Because of that mess there. See how he just did? Because of that mess there.
Y'all got
Y'all
something.
gotta cut it out. So thank you, Afro Elite, for speaking up for me when he did that, because he was trying to exert some dominance, and it probably leads back to his dating life.
You shouldn't
So
have to go back and forth with him. If this is the host and you disrespect him, it goes to a point where now I got to step in. Now I got to step in. It goes to a point where at a certain situation, I'm gonna say something. I don't even think that it's appropriate for you to be going back and forth at a certain degree, because that's disrespectful entirely. The fact that he came up, and I guess because the last couple of spaces, I guess y'all felt like something is sweet apparently, and y'all not used to me going off like I used to do back with these. I keep saying spaces with these lives. Y'all not used to me doing that, because I've been kind of chilled the last few lives or whatever the case is, and y'all get to come up and, hey, I've been waiting for such and such and such. If you don't got the patience, you can leave. Ain't nobody asked you to be here. Everybody who comes up, mute yourself, and you will be able to speak. I'm very fair. I'm very fair. If you come off your mic, you getting dropped. If not blocked, if I don't know you. So you got me yelling and shit.
It was justifiably so though. I love to see it. Can I just say that? We can move on. But I just love to see it. That was definitely justified. For sure. Love to see it.
All right. All right. Yeah, he's blocked. He's blocked. He's gone for good. Or whatever. Let me see.
I'm
And the
about to
fact that
block
he said the thing
Ramos.
about him being okay with him shouting out his father's side of the family, like Father's Day, kind of alludes to me that he might not be FBA. It kind of gives me that type of energy too. And the fact that
So
he didn't
black
expect it
people.
to come from me, you're so calm and respectful. You a piece of shit. How about that? How
Thank
about that for
you.
being calm and respectful? Respectfully, you a fuck nigga. Now I gotta edit that part out. But respectfully,
Uh, so respectfully to Mr. Ramos, he's very uneducated because black people can't be racist. We could be prejudiced. We could be bigoted, but we do not control the system. So when I say if you don't date black, that you aren't really black? No. I said you aren't pro-black, meaning you ain't for your people first. Your comprehension level is even lower than your goddamn looks. Okay? So, to be pro-black, you have to take in the whole essence of blackness, which means the black family comes first. You cannot be pro-black if you don't have a black family. And that's where I'm at with it, right? Because your interest becomes different, right?
mhm,
That's why we have loving, versus the state because they wanted to interracially marry and stuff, right? So their interests became different than the black Americans who just wanted to love each other.
mhm,
It's a difference. And we're not going to be stupid and act like, now, can you be aware? Can you be aware that your people have problems? Can you lend your voice? Yes. But don't think you're going to come on the panel with me and claim that you pro-black. Because the way he was talking, that's not pro-black. That's pro-divesting. That's pro-male chauvinist because I want to make sure that the father is... Does he even know the man's father wasn't in his life because he passed and the family didn't step up to the plate? That it was the black American side? So the same respect that he gave to Puerto Rico, he should have gave to FBA. So sorry if I'm not articulate enough for some of y'all. At least I know the difference between racism, prejudice, and being bigoted. And Mr. Ramos, okay, you know neither, so you're dumb. And you can exit the chat. And V, never have I been a follower. I'm on this app by myself. You're flippy floppy and you're wishy washy. And if you don't like me, you could scroll on and go get your attention from somewhere else because you're acting like a fan. To say BX name in any room is to gain some type of spotlight. So you are a fan, ma'am. Scroll on. I'm a land there. Stop bothering me today.
mhm, mhm. All right. Let's continue. We're going to continue with the room. Let's see. I know we got some people who want to come up and speak on the prompt and on the situation. Let's get to. And I thought he was gonna. I wanted to go off a little bit longer to be very honest, but you know what I'm saying. I didn't think he was going to be a damn coward and jump off so quickly. I thought he would have at least tried to argue back, but he ran real quick. So you know it is what it is. I guess it's for the best. Let's get to ATP TV. ATP TV.
Hey Afro Elite, shout out to this in the room. How are you?
I'm good.
Um,
I'm good now.
I,
I'm good now. I'm good now.
I see, I see. Um, I am definitely a descendant of the formerly enslaved people. I am a seventh generation, both sides. And the crazy thing, listening to the last caller or the last speaker was, I don't really think it was about a Mother's Day situation because men and women play sports. I believe it was to me erasure. It was erasure because you start to see this conversation in context of mixed race individuals, mixed ethnicity, ethnogenesis in the conversation to where on a large stage where you have a large audience, you now can properly uphold and start to acknowledge groups of people who do not have a cultural heritage that they can speak from in regards to Black Americans. And so to mix and say, hey, I got my PR soul culture, it is kind of a slap in the face. Now, granted, we don't know his relationship with his mom, but I think there is that duality that no one's saying you can't acknowledge your father who has since passed. I have a parent who has passed, so I understand wanting to keep their legacy alive and their name alive in the ethosphere spiritually. But at the same time, it was almost as if you start to see the ignorance in a lot of people when they start to talk about what does it look like for Black Americans, descendants, to start to represent themselves on a large stage, to give a voice, a larger voice, and a platform to the discussion of delineation in and around historical culture. And so I think there's this, again, false sense of longing to want to try to say, okay, well, I'm Puerto Rican mixed, so I'm the ambiguous piece of my family, and I want to represent the side that most people would say you have a stronger position of being more of the diaspora, but they also don't realize how they all utilize racism in erasure of Black America. And this is the reason why I have a problem with the term diaspora, because the diaspora does not include Black America. Even when you're talking about Negro culture, soul culture, and all the above, Black, Indigenous, all the above. You don't hear it on the mainstream. I think Beyonce right now is carrying the torch along with maybe a couple of other people. I would say there's some people in country that did it before her that are Black American that people don't know about, but that's just music. That's one element of us. That's not the culture of us. And so when I see Carmelo doing that, it does raise an eyebrow of the erasure piece. And we don't practice racism. I think other groups practice racism against us because we do not attack other groups when they come to America. We are not separating families or, torturing folks in their homes or going and attacking people and splitting folks up or trying to emulate other people just so we can get in good. Now, you do have our coons. We know that. I don't know if you can say that on here, but anyway. But
Don't
it's
worry, I
not
have
the
to
same.
edit this whole thing anyway.
I'm sorry. I'm so
Try not to
sorry.
bring the live down, but I'm gonna definitely have
Okay,
to
I'm
edit
so
this
sorry.
anyway.
I'm so sorry. I'll limit it there, but I just really think that people really need to dig deeper when they're having these conversations, especially on a level that allows us to really fully bloom in larger spaces. I think he did a disservice to his mother. It's not a disrespect to his dad, but it's to say, how much do you know about your family and your lineage to not carry the torch in the same way that you did your dad? And so I think that was really unfair, and I'll end it there.
Yeah, and to add on to what you were saying, I really like that. It's not Father's Day. He said he took today to make it Father's Day. Fathers have a day. And I'm not saying that you can't pay homage to your father or your father's side of the family, but technically, he mentioned his Puerto Rican side of the family. It wasn't really about his father necessarily. It was about his father's ethnicity. That's the thing. It was specifically and exclusively about his father's ethnicity. So to say that if he may feel that that is paying homage to his father, but that's the thing. You kind of really, if you want to make that excuse, you kind of missed the mark because you didn't mention my father's side of the family. The way you came up there and he gave his award, you would think he's full Puerto Rican on both sides. And all we saying is, okay, it's not about your Father's Day or whatever, but you're giving so much credit to your father's ethnicity and none from what I've heard. You gave credit to your mother as an individual, but you gave credit to your father and his ethnicity. And you didn't give any credit to your mother's ethnicity. And that dismissed her ethnicity and her part, her lineage, and that part that had to play in you becoming who you were, which was the majority of why he became who he was because of his mother's side of the family. Okay, let's be honest. Even with the whole thing with the father, now both my parents are here, so I'm trying to be understanding, and I can kind of I can comprehend, and I get it, but the way it was done, I just it could have been done a lot better. It could have been done a lot better because it comes off, and I'm not even trying to put any allegations off there. It comes off of this was less about showing respect to his dad, and it was more about making yourself seem like a special Puerto Rican who kind of came out the mud and in rags to riches. That's what it came off as. All right. To me, that's what it came off as to me. All right. Let's get to Petunia. You can unmute yourself.
Yes.
How you doing?
How you guys doing? Hey, I've been on a lot of lives, and this is just too much mess. These
Yeah, it
Africans,
normally don't be like that. It normally be cool,
these
but you know,
Caribbeans,
sometimes.
these Caribbeans, these Africans, and then some of these Black Americans. We we as Black Americans, we got to get it together. Stop all this kumbayaing. It's not working. They don't like us. Carmelo to me was very disrespectful. You are a Black American. You came out the mud. Stop trying to pretend like you got that shit from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico don't got shit to do with basketball. I can understand you giving homage to your father. Fathers are important. Your father was gone out your life. Everything you got it from being a Black American. You didn't get shit from being Puerto Rican. So don't come up here and try to tell us that you got this shit from being Puerto Rican. Giving the homage out to your father, what did Puerto Rican have to do with it? What did Puerto Rican even have to do with it?
Mm-hmm.
He's your father. What did his lineage Puerto Rican have to do with him being your father? If you wasn't over there in Puerto Rico and you wasn't raised in Puerto Rico, what did that have to do with it?
Yeah.
I just feel sorry. We always try to other. We don't want to be ourselves. We don't even understand that this is our land and that these people want our shit. Carmelo, you are a Black American man. Get it together. Yes, you a biracial. You biracial. Your other heritage is Puerto Rican, but you don't know shit about that. Your daddy died when you was 2 years old. Come on now, it's a lot of us Black Americans that's gonna have to get it together, and we're gonna have to stand up. We in a fight with everybody, and we don't even see all the fists that's socking us up. We don't even see where it's all coming from. Erasure. We all this hard work our ancestors did fighting to save this, to save us, to save our land, to save our heritage. And people just walking over here comparing their strife to ours. Did you see the shit he said about the struggle the Puerto Ricans had to go through? If you don't get that shit up out of here, can't even compare it. Can't even compare the struggle.
Yeah.
And what did that have to do with what you a basketball player? You got it out the mud over here in Black America, not Puerto Rico. I don't understand what Puerto Rico have to do with anything.
Mm-hmm.
This
Yep.
shit is sad. It's
Yeah.
sad.
And that's the and
And
this is my thing. You know what I'm saying? Um, it would be one thing. It probably wouldn't even be worth having a discussion if he tried to 50-50, like, hey, I'm 50% black and this side fights so hard, and I'm also 50% Puerto Rican and this side fights so hard, and both sides coming. If he would have did something like that, even though that would have been much, it would have been too much for him to do that, to be honest with you, considering the fact that his father did pass away when he was 2. Even if he did do that, I kind of would have been like, well, I guess maybe he just trying to be respectful. But he didn't do that at all. Like, I'm listening, I'm watching, like, dude, Puerto Rico, you not this is a lot of people saying, I didn't even know he was part Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican, until that moment right there. So they knew him as being a black American until bam, now is bam, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico. And then when he gave a shout out to his mother, he didn't specify that his mother wasn't Puerto Rican. So if you listening to it, you think his whole family is Puerto Rican. Cause even when he gave the credit to his mom, he didn't say, yeah, my mom is a black American. My mom is from America. He didn't do that. You know, so that's something. ZZ, do you want to say anything? And then BX, I think we probably need to reset the room a little bit. I know y'all gotta love BX because she be giving me so much grace and everything. She set the decorum of the room. I be breaking rules all the time. I know, I know she be palming her head like, here he go again. I be breaking the rules. I'm trying to get better, y'all. I am. I'm breaking. I'm like, yeah, there's gonna be a lot of editing. Let's reset the room. Let's get back to it now.
So right, you did it in the name of
I did it in the name of protection because
exactly.
that when it comes to y'all disagreeing, that's one thing. When it comes to him being hostile, then I have to jump in. I can't just let me sit back and let you handle that. Now I have to jump in. Now if he was respectfully disagreeing with you, you BX, y'all know I let BX do what she want to do. You know what I'm saying? But once he becomes belligerent, which is what he was doing, first off he was rude off gate, off rip, and then once he becomes belligerent, now no, okay, now I'm stepping in, now I'm handling it. So that's how I handle it.
And he ain't want no smoke with you. He
No,
wanted all the smoke with BX.
yeah, he was going back and forth with her, but yeah.
Very telling. But yeah, I agree with the sister who just spoke though. I don't know if she slipped when she said it though. 'Cause she said biracial. But I don't think he's biracial because his father is Puerto Rican, but I think he's like Boricua. He was saying, I heard him say that in a couple interviews. So he's black Puerto Rican. But he is bi-ethnic.
sorry, I meant bi ethnical or
I
however you
thought so.
say it.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure in this case it was anybody needed clarity, but yeah, I absolutely agree though. You know, he's from here. He's homegrown. Again, this is crazy. I've known about this man my whole life, and I'm just now hearing that he's actually half Puerto Rican. I had no idea. So it's like it's okay for you to and even for him to feel like that heritage because his father, although his father's Puerto Rican, connecting himself with that doesn't mean that he has his father. You know what I'm saying? Like I get what the last speaker was saying. But I do also get him wanting to attach himself to that so he can feel like he has a part of his father's heritage to pass on maybe to his children and things like that. It's understandable. But in this moment, again, at a peak of your career where you're at the top, you don't go back to the people who weren't there for you. You don't shout out the people who weren't there, period. I'm sorry. And especially with him being raised by a single black mother here, I know there had to be some black men. For him to be as good as he was, there had to be some black American men that helped raise him as well. Whether that was coaches, brothers, family members, cousins, whatever the case. There had to be some black American men that were influential in his life that helped him get to where he's at outside of, the Puerto Rican side. So it's like, I get you want to pay homage to your father, but why not pay homage to the brothers that was actually there and helped mold you into the man that you became? You can do both, honestly. But the way that he did it again, like you was just saying, Afro, he just made it seem like, oh, I'm just Puerto Rican. When he shouted out his mother, he just said her name. He didn't say shout out to my family in Baltimore or Brooklyn. He didn't shout out he didn't even shout out his damn cities. So it's like it seems intentional for you to try to put this side of you at the forefront of your identity after you've already basically exploited what now it seems like you've exploited Black America. Like, get it together, brother. That ain't it.
Yeah, it's coming off as you get what you could get from
Yeah.
our lineage. You got what you could get. You maxed out. Now you Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? And we're starting to see that once folks kind of max out and they peak with their career, then they become their ethnicity. Who's another one? Who's another one? Busta Rhymes. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Growing up, I loved Busta Rhymes growing up. Didn't know he was Jamaican. Didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Now that Busta Rhymes is his career is like past his peak, past his prime. Now all of a sudden, all of his style and his swag comes from Jamaica. I'm okay, all right. So when y'all max out, now y'all wanna pay homage, and all of the credit belongs to y'all uh other heritage. So yeah, that's interesting. BX, I know you want to say something. If you
Yeah,
could just
I
come.
want to say something. The comments are kind of disappointment pointed, but it does prove one thing. They only want to attach to us to be contrarian or to take credit for some things that we did. I want to tell you why. Every time I say Afro Latinos are different than Black Americans, we were cultured differently, I get all the reasons and all the DNA components and all the ingredients they use for their food. However, they know there's a difference. You know how they know this? In New York, I'm from New York. In New York, they have the Puerto Rican Day Parade. They have the Dominican Day Parade. They even have the West Indian Day Parade. And Black Americans have their own parade. It's called the African American Day Parade. It was formerly the Harlem Day Parade. If there is no difference between us and y'all weren't trying to make a distinction or delineate yourselves to acknowledge your culture, your specific culture, there would be no need for a Puerto Rican parade. It would be no need for a Dominican Day Parade. Y'all would just have the Latino Day Parade and say that Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Venezuelans, and all these other groups are the same. Y'all are not. Y'all are culturally different. Y'all know this. And I'm gonna tell you one thing else because I've been doing genealogy for a while. I've also been into the DNA testing. Puerto Ricans, Black Americans, Dominicans, especially, we may have the same racial components, meaning indigenous, African descent, European. But the difference in that comes in with the percentage of the markers, right? So Black Americans tend to have a higher African descent than the Latinos, but we still all have it. But we're still not all African, but we still have our own cultures. So even though there are similarities to us, we are different, and that's okay. And y'all celebrate those differences. Y'all do. But when it comes to Black Americans, y'all give me a million and one reasons why we're the same. I grew up in New York and no, I'm not Puerto Rican, even though I've been around Puerto Ricans and went to school with them more than I ever did an African. And I ain't none of them. I'm a Black American. Y'all gotta give us our own autonomy, and this is why we're having problems. We say y'all participated in something, that's what it is. Because Black Americans have been in the region of the United States, what became the region of the United States minus the territories, okay, for hundreds of years. Personally, my family is documented in the North from 1750 by the Dutch. The Dutch kept meticulous records. In the South, my earliest ancestor is in the year 1815. So I predate the country on one end of my lineage. I'm foundational to here. I'm foundational to Puerto Rico. Even though I grew up around Puerto Rican, so my culture is different, and I don't understand why you don't get it. Now I'm gonna say this about the history of Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico wasn't always a territory, so we do understand that now they're citizens. There's a one Latino group that can't be deported. Puerto Ricans are proud. Every block I walk down in the South Bronx has a Puerto Rican flag out there, and that's fine. No tea, no shade. I don't care. I just know they're proud Puerto Ricans, and they're gonna rep their island. But I don't understand you Puerto Ricans that's getting up here trying to act like we the same because we use the same ingredients or grew up in the same hood. Y'all gotta stop. We allow Puerto Ricans and Afro Latinos or whatever to be themselves. Maybe we bothered the Dominicans because they're heavily melanated like us, a lot of them. So we didn't understand them at first, that they were going through their by their nationality. So although we may have the same what they call racial components, we are ethnically and culturally different. We don't take away your Afro descendancy from y'all. We don't try to tell y'all who y'all are, but now we telling you who you're not. And then we also respect when you say, this is offensive to my culture. This is offensive to me as a person. This is offensive to me. And we say, oh, okay, won't do it again. But we ain't getting the same respect. So I want to shout out to the ones who get it. And this is the same with the Caribbean too. Because for some reason they bump their head too. They over here in New York trying to tell us what we can and can't do. What? Are you serious? But everything they got, y'all, everything they got is through manipulation. And they use those manipulation tactics against us. And that's why they're monopolizing the government. And that's why Brooklyn looks the way it does, because of Yvette Clarke. And that's why we ain't getting stuff passed, because they up there voting no for our incentives, our benefits, our rights that our ancestors fought for, but they ain't speaking against CARICOM, the agency that's trying to get their people something. And this is why BX is upset. And this is why BX sometimes don't have no compassion for y'all. Because I can look at my government and see the same mindset of the ones in the community that's trying to erase my people is in the government in suits, voting no to things for Black Americans, but voting yes to things for them. It's not jealousy, it's fairness. When do we get treated fairly? Otherwise, y'all wouldn't be. Maybe Puerto Rico would have been here because America was over there messing in their business. So back to Puerto Rico, we acquired y'all like in the late 1890s, right? Y'all in mass couldn't come over here like that. It was only the elite, right? Because America had put their military, put a base over there, whatever. Y'all didn't get y'all citizenship till like 1912 to 1917. I've been here since 1750. My ancestors been here since 1750. We had culture. Before you got here, you didn't create anything in our culture. You participated. We were always here. We ain't dumb. We wasn't twiddling our thumbs. There's a difference. I don't care. Both stops matter. If your both stopped in the Caribbean, you are Caribbean. You are not a Black American. If yours stopped in what was the 13 colonies or what became the United States of America, you ain't Caribbean and you ain't Puerto Rican and you ain't all these other people. You are Black American. You are North American. It's okay to be Pan-African, right? But you got to stand on lineage business. Just because we all melanated and may have been ripped from the continent, they still don't deserve reparations with us. They got to go after the government that harmed them the most. That would be the Brits, France, or Spain. It's not rocket scientists. I'm going to land
We
there because I think y'all should get it. It's common sense. What is wrong with y'all people? And to
we
my
ca-
bi-ethnics, we love y'all like we would love a biracial, right? But what we're finding is that some are problematic. For y'all who don't know, I do have bi-ethnic children. I have to test their temperatures too. Why? Because I'm older. Yes, I am older. And I raised my children under the ideals of Pan-Africanism, one flat blackness. That was harmful. Because now I'm realizing what the Caribbean and the Africans and all these other Afro people are in our government doing. So there's times they're going to hear me speak a certain way. I ain't going to treat people the same way because I notice there's a difference. We're ethnically different. That's fine. I need solutions and not y'all just the solution of y'all tethering on to us. Because meanwhile, while you're telling us we all Black, y'all are getting things specifically to your lineage and you won't pass nothing for my lineage. So we're not all the same and we're not all Black because y'all are snakes. Some of y'all. Okay? And then our
Me,
government. So are y'all gonna vote with us to get these snakes out of our government so we don't have to have these conversations no more, besides the bi-ethnics who's kind of throwing FBA under the bus? There's a way to acknowledge both your parents. I have a child that will have the Jamaican flag, the Black American flag, or the American flag in his bio. He has always said he's Afro-Caribbean and Afro-American. Okay, but here's the difference with him. He said to me one day, "Ma, why are they treating all the other Afro people differently than they treat Black Americans?" You get it? So if our bi-ethnics aren't aware that there's a difference in the way your foundational parent side is being treated than your other ethnic side, then you are a problem. You are an issue. And we are allowed to issue some straightening. Because even you can love both parents, but realize one of your parents' people is being treated differently. We're not telling you to denounce, deny, or conform, or whatever. But that would be the perfect time to use your voice in a space such as this, or even in government. right? But what we're finding is even our black ethnics are getting into government. They're not sticking up for foundational black Americans to vote and know the stuff too. They're not advocating for stuff for us either. But the Caribbean, the Africans, and all these other people, all these immigrants that they're crying over and stuff that don't have no history on this land, is basically siphoning our resources. And then they want to tell us if we deserve reparations or not. Y'all just got here. Y'all just got here. Y'all shouldn't be saying the N-word. Y'all shouldn't think y'all created hip-hop. Y'all shouldn't think y'all created R&B. Nor should you think you should be entitled to be a part or in our spaces or even in these talks. These are courtesy talks. And I don't want y'all speaking on our reparations when I'm in the room because they don't pertain to you. Because ain't nobody speaking against your agency. So don't come in here speaking against anything for us when we ain't doing it to you. I think that's enough for now. But it's common sense.
And it's very disingenuous because everything you said, they know. They know. Yeah, you know how they know it? Because they always said, I know black, I Dominican, I know black, I Puerto Rican, I know black. They know. They know it's a difference between us. So they need to just cut it out. It's we shouldn't even have to explain to them anymore. We shouldn't have to keep explaining this. It's not rocket scientists.
Yep. Let some people go so I can bring some people up, but I appreciate you all for participating. Thank you guys for that. Let me add on to what you just said, BX. Let me add on to it. There's a podcast called the Rap Crew or something. I forgot. These are some brothers who make a
Daily
podcast.
wrap up crew.
Daily Wrap Up Crew. One of the guys, the light skinned brother, he's half Jamaican and half Black American. And he pretty much fully identifies as FBA because he says his Jamaican side of the family doesn't like Black Americans. His Jamaican side of the family doesn't really accept him. His Jamaican side of the family kind of treats him like an other. You know what I'm saying? And he'll call that out. There was one thing where they were calling out a group of Haitians who were saying that Haitians were the reason that we were free in America. And he was calling that out. And the way he was calling that out, and there was another dude who was Trinidadian. I don't know if he's half or full Trinidadian. The way they were calling that stuff out, I didn't even know that they were non-FBA until after the fact. After that, where they said, "Oh yeah, I'm Trinidadian, and I'm half Jamaican or whatever. My family's half Jamaican." See, that's the thing, because let's be very honest with you. Your Puerto Rican side is not going to accept you as a full Puerto Rican. You're always going to be treated like, when it comes to your other ethnicity, like some other. You might be somewhat, if you were like born and raised and they don't know, but if they know, they're always going to treat you like an other. You know what I'm saying? We're the only group of people, even when it comes to biracial people, do we not treat the children in the community like there's some outcast or there's some charity or some other. We're the only people who don't do it like that, who don't operate like that, you know? So it comes off to be very disheartening when they grow up and then next thing you know, they want to fully embrace, like they want to be accepted by their non-FBA side of the family, you know? Because it ain't you don't see nobody doing that and pandering to us like they want to be accepted by us. You don't see nobody doing that. But you want to be accepted by people who you kind of didn't grow up with like that anyway, and who weren't that much of a factor. And so much so you're willing to dismiss our ethnicity and heritage. You're willing to dismiss that so you can have acceptance over here. And I'm not just talking about Carmelo. I'm talking about other people who've done that as well too. And I think that this conversation, if he's Puerto Rican, cool. I don't got no issue with Puerto Ricans. It's not like that. If you cool, you cool. If you ain't, you ain't. I don't got no issue with nobody. But the thing I can't help but notice is that when it comes to him stating that he's Puerto Rican, Zoe Zeldana stating that she's Afro-Latina, even Tyler stating that she's colored. When it comes to all of these things, y'all get to claim what y'all want to claim. And y'all say, hey, you remember with Tyler, y'all say, y'all can't make her black. Y'all can't get rid of her ethnicity. If she colored, she colored. Y'all can't make her black. It was us, quote unquote, making her black. Y'all said we can't do that. All right. So all we saying is fine. Let's keep the rules the same. We're not gonna change the rules when we get in the room. So if y'all gonna stand on y'all culture and y'all ethnicity, cool. Best of luck to you. So now we're gonna stand on our culture and our ethnicity, and I don't want none of y'all saying nothing about it. Like, well, the ships are the only difference is where the ship. I don't want to hear none of that, cause y'all not saying that when they delineate and when they specify their heritage. So I don't want y'all to say that when we specify our heritage and when we delineate. Because y'all try to make our culture this universal thing that everybody gets to partake in, and then their culture is exclusive to them and it's special and unique. Don't do that. All right.
Hey, I
I
just want.
appreciate everybody's
I'm at
patience,
work.
but can we get the likes up? We almost got 50K. Let's get the likes up, everybody.
I want to say I'm at work. I just dropped by to show some little support because I
Appreciate you,
wanted to
man.
say something, but I ain't got time no more. But yeah, I'm just at work, so I can't really say what I want to say.
I was talking too long. Go ahead, mama.
No, it's not. It's not that you was talking too long, but I do want to say something about our culture. I've been seeing a lot of videos with this dusty African with a dusty old suit on. That if you probably pat him on the back, a lot of dust will pop up. On like he's sitting there talking about we ain't got no culture and talking about we ain't got no rituals and stuff like that. You people like to talk about our culture and know nothing about our culture because we actually do have a lot of those things like reunions and stuff. Those are like traditional things to us. We really don't have to explain ourselves to people who culture just stone aged out, and it's only consists of like a long boob grandma dancing around a campfire. So the fact that you want to sneak this my culture and think that you're gonna get away with that, no, you're not. Because the thing is, our culture updates over time. Yours stayed in the cave. Okay? So put some respect on FBA's name, okay? You could never. But I gotta go. See y'all later.
All right. Well, she don't want to get in trouble. All right.
Hello,
She said the
Halo.
boss coming. Gotta go.
Right. I didn't even set the decorum
I
for the
mean, can I say
room.
something?
Oh yeah, you
One
were
moment.
supposed
I'm
to
gonna
do
just
Yeah,
that.
say this. I'm
we
gonna
we
set the
gonna get to some of
decorum.
the other speakers, but we kind of had a minute where we needed to get some stuff off our chest. So
Right. So we're gonna usher in some new, fresh energy for the room. When you come on the panel, please leave with your ethnic group when you're directed to speak. Right. Please leave with your ethnic group, and your age. If you're over 18, because I know some women don't like to tell their age. I was raised by a grandmother who didn't want to tell her age all the time. Also, pronouns are not required unless you want to tell us. See that orange heart? Click that orange heart. Complete the daily mission. That will help keep Afro Elite's platform in the algorithm and improve in the ranking. Also, claim your points because then that'll unlock new stickers, new prizes, new gifts, and stuff like that. Also, share out the live, tap the screen, like the live, y'all. Again, I am a Black American. One of my reclassifications is African American. If your ancestors wasn't in the United States of America and can be found on an 1870 United States Census, then you are not an African American or Black American, nor should you culturally identify as a foundational Black American. Both stops matter. So if your boat stop made you Caribbean, and your boat stop made you Latino, and my boat stop made me Black American, we are different. No matter if we have some similarity does not mean same. So don't come up here and talk about, well, I'm black too, and you ain't got no foundational Black American parent in your household. I land. Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Right.
All right.
Hey, and let me add on to what you was just saying too,
Hello.
because I think you made a good point with that Carmelo. Um, I think with some of these bi-ethnics, a big problem is that, especially the ones that don't come off immediately as other or non-FBA, so they don't have an accent, maybe they don't look Latino or look, specifically whatever ethnic group they're attached to. I think those specific bi-ethnics have it's almost like an audition they're going through to prove their allegiance or connection to that other group outside of FBA. And not only that, I think a part of that performance is in showing that allegiance is showing your anti-blackness against Black Americans, showing that you have some sort of disdain for Black Americans. So yeah, you're going to overperform by doing this long ass drawn out speech about a man that you didn't even know like that in a culture you were not a part of. But again, like he did to disrespect Black Americans, you had to do that as well to go along with your audition. So you had to shout out your mother, but not shout out your city, not shout out where she came from, not shout out to her family, who was primarily the people that raised you, and the brothers and sisters that was a part of your success, the foundation of Black Americans here that were a part of your success. So let me not acknowledge them at all. But I'm gonna shout out my mama. I'm gonna shout out a couple family members, but I'm gonna make sure I shout out the whole Puerto Rico. I'm gonna make sure I get a whole flag of Puerto Rico on my arm. I'm gonna make sure I keep saying Boricua and saying little Spanish words so y'all know I'm really connected. You know, so it's a very performative behavior I think these people are putting on, so it's like so they can be accepted. But the thing is, they will never be fully accepted, just like you were saying, because that culture, it's always going to affect them. That anti-Black underlying undercurrent in their culture is always going to affect them. You will always be put out as other, no matter how much you degrade yourself. But I think that's almost like a ritual they have to go through.
Is there anybody in here who could be like Carmelo? Their mom or their dad is foundational, and their other parent is Puerto Rican. Yeah, I would like for y'all to enter the chat and give. What you say, Afro? If there are anybody ethnics with that
Anybody
component,
ethnics, come up and feel free. You know, we'll be nice. We will be nice from now on. We will be nice. You know, unless you want some mess up stuff, then we won't be. You know what I'm saying? Because if you mess up, we're gonna get you. But if you come up and be respectful, we're gonna be cool. We're gonna be cool. But I would like to hear that, you know, and we would like to hear people who have different points of view, different stances on the situation, you know, because there was a sister who came up earlier and she had a completely different stance, said that we was reaching, we was off, and we didn't go back and forth. She was respectful with it. As long as you're respectful with your disagreement, hey, we can agree to disagree. We might see it differently. That's cool. Okay. But if y'all commented in the chat room, then y'all got a lot to say. Y'all should be able to come up and stand on it. Otherwise, you kind of defeating your own argument. But let's continue. Let's continue. I want to, because we got nobody on the panel thus far has spoken yet. So let's hurry up and get this stuff out. I'm going to set a timer real quick. I want to get to Passport Bro podcast. How you doing? We've seen you again before.
What's good, bro?
What's
I know
good?
I see you talk on Tyreek Live or in the chat, so I recognize your name from that.
Oh, yeah,
But
yep.
I don't want to beat a dead horse. I lost some steam, but so I won't rehash the first two questions. But I do want to mention. Well, I do kind of want to ask a question when I get on panels, especially with like Black immigrant groups. And I'm sorry, I'm foundational Black American. When they talk about FBA's delineating and saying it's divisive and that, you know, we all Black all of a sudden, I always get this pushback saying that, you know, when I bring up examples or when people bring up examples of how Black immigrants have delineated themselves, they always say that that's your anecdotal experience, or I never seen these negative comments, or I never seen that. And it's hard to kind of debate, you know, when people claim that they are oblivious to what we're talking about. How do y'all deal with that?
We deal with it with examples like this because they will always dismiss and act obtuse when we give examples of the fact that they've always operated like they're different. And they do it now. They're trying to disguise it, but they've always operated that way, you know, and we've never really made them not do that. We've always given them their room to celebrate their culture. Hell, we be all like, hey, it's Cinco de Mayo. Let's all get some tacos. Hell, let's all dance to some mariachi music. Let's all go ahead and celebrate. We let them have their culture, and to a degree, we even participated to some degree. We have a taco with them, or you know what I'm saying. We'll go out there and dance to some salsa music or whatever the case. So we've never had that issue. Okay, but the problem is that first off, let them. Yeah, we did because we fought for them to have the right to come over here. So yes, everything they do is because we let them do it. Because we've never pushed back against it. We've never tried to, it's Haitian flag day, but I'm gonna bring the American flag there. We've never done that. It's Puerto Rican flag day, but I'm gonna bring my flag there, the Juneteenth flag. We've never done that. When it comes to their independence days, when it comes to their holidays, when it comes to their festivals, when it comes to none, we've never done that. Tried to take it over, tried to say, well, it's in America, so how is Carnival y'all's? We've never done them like that or whatever. But now we're starting to see they doing us like that. You know what I'm saying? We can give incident after incident. Carnival has never been a Black American thing, you know? And then the second we start going in, they let it be abundantly clear they don't want us there. A lot of them, that they don't want us there. You know, Haitian Flag Day, Puerto Rican Flag Day, Nigerian Independence Day, all of these things. We've never tried to make this no Pan-African holiday like they do with Juneteenth. We've never done that. We've never tried to discredit them or dismiss them. We've never done that. Reggie, you're saying it's partly false. Reggie, come up then. Come up and tell me what part I said that was incorrect. Have you been to Carnival? I'm saying we have never tried to make Carnival, first off, no, but we have never tried to make Carnival a Pan-African holiday and say Carnival is not about the Caribbean. You don't see no videos of FBAs saying Carnival is about all of the diaspora and it's not about the Caribbean. We've never done that. Everybody acknowledges the fact that Carnival is about the Caribbean. Now, if we want to come in and dance and party, that's one thing, but we've never tried to strip the Caribbean from Carnival. That's what I'm saying. So with spaces like this, when we call stuff out, this is how we get to the problem, solve the problem. And let's get the likes up, everybody. Let's get the likes up. Let's get the likes up. All right. Let's get to our sister Curl Power.
Thank you, Afro, and hey to the panel. I kind of wanted to go down a historical lane or part. So, so it was Earl Lloyd who was the one of the first Black American players to enter the NBA league. So I just feel like just from that angle alone, I feel like that was just dismissive of just everyone who fought and paved the way. They joined the league during the 1950s during segregation, and you just completely I just feel like it was just very disrespectful just to ignore the strides that Black Americans played a part in for you to be in this position today to accept this award. You know, I just that just blows my mind, like, for you to do that. And then another thing I wanted to say was there was another young lady up here that said something about erasure. And I want to say I can see that because you're already seeing people say things about like Malcolm X saying that, oh, he wasn't FBA, he was half this. So we do have to take this very seriously. This is not something that's just light and like, oh, he's just honoring his dad. No, this is what they're going to start doing as more people do this. They're going to start saying, oh, well, Carmelo was half Puerto Rican, so you guys don't have claim to what you did in the NBA or anything. That's just how it starts. It starts with little things like that. So we do have to speak out against this type of stuff. And not only that, you guys may disagree with me when I say this, but I've always felt like this since I was a child. But I felt like a lot of times as FBAs, we were very on our reflexes when it came to white tees. You know, we were like ready, or we were ready when they were about to do something. But I feel like our guard came down when it came to other people of color, and I think that's where we need to put our guard back up around everybody, not just white tees. It needs to go to other people of color too, because this is what we're dealing with now. Now we have to deal with trying to reestablish, like, no, you had no part in our music, you had no part of our civil rights movement, you did not fight to end the segregation in the NBA, and it's insane. So I just wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Puerto Rico did not pave the way. His ancestors did not pave the way. Puerto Ricans, they don't even take basketball that serious. It'd be one thing if this was baseball or soccer or something like that, basketball is really our sport. If we're gonna be honest with you, that's our sport, you know. And the lane was paved for him by our ancestry. Truth be told, so let's not come on. Let's yeah, and it is bigger than him just shouting out his father, okay? Because it goes into the theme of the cultural erasure that we're seeing all over the place. All right, so this is why we got to acknowledge that. But I know other people. If y'all want to come up, just request to come up. Let's get to my good brother delineationist.
Delineationist goes, I just got to say this. The other day, when accepting an award, he was a proud Puerto Rican. The moment he gets pulled over by the police, the moment that something he's harmed in any type of way by racism, he'll say, as a black man. I just want to point that out to everybody. That's all. Black when convenient. That's what we call it, and a lot of New York Ricans are like that. And so when he did that, it was familiar to me, and I knew it was something more, something like he was asserting his side in the politics of the whole Fat Joe, I'm black, and I could say the N word to me while he looked like a whole white tea man. It was his stance, taking his side in the way that they're trying to say that they created hip hop. For Carmelo Anthony, yes, it could have been, it's about lineage, but it's also about the politics between the two ethnic groups. And I'll land there. So there's no award ceremony. He's a proud Puerto Rican. But the moment he's harmed by the systems of America, any of his vestiges, he's going to say, as a black man, this is why it happened to me. He's going to, do that thing there.
We got 56, almost 57,000 likes. We can get to 75,000 in the next few minutes. If everybody, we got well over 200 people in here. If everybody hits that like button and we just do the mass typing, we can get to 75,000 in the next few minutes. Guarantee it. So let's get the room popping, family. Let's get it popping. Delineation is, brother, you got it.
Yeah, we got Miles Morales of basketball talking.
I want to
That's
speak
what I
on
call.
that for a second. I want to speak on that when you're done.
Yeah, you saw that comment, right?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. Let me. With Miles Morales, I remember when my dad told me that there was a black Spider-Man. And I was all like, they is never gonna make no black Spider-Man. I don't know. They are never gonna make no black Spider-Man. He was like, no, it's a black Spider-Man. They just made a comic book with a black Spider-Man. I was like, okay. I thought he was tripping. But they made a comic book with a black Spider-Man, and there was a whole bunch of people, YT people, mad. Oh, now Spider-Man the Negro. Now he gonna be stealing. It was a lot of people who was Miles Morales got a lot of flack. The comic book character Miles Morales, who's also a Spider-Man, got a lot of flack, and he had to. I guess they had to make several comic books and all of this stuff about him or whatever the case is. Now, his dad is a black American. His mom is Puerto Rican. So now that Miles Morales, now he's been a character for like at least the last 10, 15 years. All right. Now when he's starting to get video games, and now when he's starting to get movies, and now when he's starting to get recognition, I'm starting to see people be all like, oh my God, he's an Afro-Latino. He's an Afro-Latino. And this is kind of the same thing. So once y'all kind of reach y'all peak, now the foreign side starts to come out. Now a lot of people are saying, oh, well, yeah, we want an Afro-Latina to play him in real life. I'm all like, but he was just a Negro when he was coming up, when people had, it was just black Americans buying his comic books. It wasn't no Puerto Ricans buying his comic books. Puerto Ricans didn't see Miles Morales as a Puerto Rican. Okay. He was a Negro. He was black. Now when he's big, now he's an Afro-Latino. Okay. So it's kind of the same thing.
You know what's crazy too, that because what BX just said something to remind me of something he said in his speech. He actually shouted out black boys in his speech. He was like, I think like towards the end, he's like, black boys, you want your mistakes, and you're more than what people put on you, like some motivational words. But it's funny that it kind of feels like he just put that in there as like a little bit of like a trick bag, or like something to kind of like a facade to make it seem like he was genuinely trying to shout out black America in some way. But honestly, how are you going to start your speech by saying, I'm giving all this praise to Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico gave my home, my soul, da da da. Then basically skip over your mother's family and then bring it back to black boys. It's like you're kind of grifting just to keep your base. Like, oh, I'm not going to identify as a black man because I'm an Afro Latina, remember? But to the black boys, because y'all really the ones that's been making me my money. To y'all, I just want to shout y'all out and say, y'all are great men. It's like, well, why the fuck did you're not even a black man? Apparently you an Afro Latina man. You're not even so, but you ready to call back to the black boys? That's really just you're kind of exploiting, to be honest. But you didn't want to mention no black men. It's very telling.
I'm gonna continue, but for some people like Miles, if you know comics, you know his Miles Morales is part Puerto Rican. You know that. It is interesting that his last name is Morales and his father's last name is Davis, and he didn't get his last name from his father. He got his last name from his mother. That's very interesting. But I'm saying, as far as the character's development, and as far as not the character's development, the popularity of the character, there's a unique highlight on his Puerto Rican side. Now that the character is more popular, before the character was super popular, he could just be black. But now that the character's really popular, now you got to throw in, you got to make sure you mention the fact that he's Puerto Rican. Okay, and we notice this when it comes to people coming up, when they become super popular or when they reach their peak. Then here comes this other ethnicity all of a sudden, like Busta Rhymes and like Carmelo Anthony and all of this stuff. All right. So yeah.
I wanted to chime in a little bit more about shout out to the book How White Tea Folks Got So Rich. They have a section in there called race manufacturing, right, that we need to look into. And one of the terms that they use is called psychoracial sickness. That's what I'm seeing put on display. Psychoracial sickness. In the guise of that they're saying they one thing and they other, and they mind is schizophrenic. So we got to break this down when it comes specifically to Mr. Carmelo. It was Negroes, Black American folks that bought his sneakers. FBA brown brothers and sisters bought his sneakers, bought his jerseys. It wasn't no Puerto Rican people, right? Maybe Fabulous might get on the slide, but with the throwback jerseys. But outside of all that, we know it's all people, and we know that Fabulous ain't FBA. He ain't no Negro. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So yeah, it is a diss. And then you can break that down where we invested in this man for him to basically backhand us and put them on there like they bought his jerseys, like they came to the game, like they supported him. No, it was our people that supported him. The other thing is the question is, I don't think you guys hit, is why Carmelo Anthony said that. Because he knows that if he identified as black, he'll be another face in the sea of other black ballers. But if he say that he's Latino or Puerto Rican or whatever that might be in the Latino sphere, that he'll be remembered even more and his impact will quote unquote be more visible because there's not that many Latino ballers. So these are some of the things I was actually looking into because, I'm a nosy Negro, Black American folk, So that was one of the two factors of why he was doing that, I felt. So my thing is, you should have said that from the jump so people wouldn't buy your beat up jerseys and buy your beat up kicks. I want my people to burn his kick. That's the type of time I'm on. Like they do those Nike shoes or something like that. Burn them Carmelo kicks. Because he disrespected our community. He disrespected his mother. He disrespected the black young BLAK ballers that was playing with him at the Rucker, right? He did that to everybody and just poo-pooed on them and put a whole nother flag up on there. And I wouldn't even be going that hard if he put a Black Heritage flag on there since he's bi-ethnic. I would have said, you know what? I could respect that. I could see where you're coming from. But he didn't even want to show us no love. But it was our love which made him who he is. So I just want to hit people with a couple of those facts and some of those things so that y'all can look at it a little bit more. So how much money he take out of the black community? That's the question we need to ask. And should he make a return back to our community in dollars and cents? Thank you for allowing me to speak Afro Elite on this topic because it really got underneath my skin personally.
Yeah.
That's why he is the Morales of basketball. Never forget that.
Appreciate that. We are so close to 75,000. We got 71.4. So in the next couple minutes, like literally the next 5 minutes, I'm sure we could probably get to 80,000. Honestly, we got over 200 people in the room, so we can get to about 80,000. So everybody, let's tap the screen. Let's tap the screen. Let's tap the screen. Now I want to get to our sister, Bookish Brown.
Good evening, everyone. Hey, BX.
Hey,
I'm
Bookish.
Black American on both sides, so much so that my family reunion is older than some African countries. What I want to say is these people are pretending with their own hearts to not understand what we're talking about. The main pushback that we have behind all of this is we are finally calling out how people use our lineage and culture and social cachet to get ahead and then turn around and kick the ladder, so no one else can get up, or deny that we had anything to do with their greatness or their ability to achieve greatness. We have people that are either another ethnicity and become very silent about that ethnicity. They can be full blood, whatever. They can be full blooded Puerto Rican, full blooded, whatever, black presenting, whatever black presenting. And they're quiet about it until they get to that mic, accept that award. Then all of a sudden, like confetti, all those flags come out their mouth. They've been black all this time. Let me give you an example. Miss Shirley Ralph. Miss Shirley Ralph was black on black when she was a dream girl. You didn't hear anything about her Caribbean side while she was climbing the ladder and getting in the trenches with being a dream girl on Broadway and all of that stuff. Her father is Black American and her mother is what? Jamaican. You didn't hear any of those things when she got on that stage and she got all of these accolades. She got on that stage and she repped her Jamaican side. Remember? Y'all remember those speeches?
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden you heard that twang in her voice? Yeah.
Oh, they put on the accent. They put on the accent with it too.
Yeah.
They put on a thick
And
accent. You ain't
a
never heard
thick
before.
accent. Mind you, I was excited at one point because one time she was singing the anthem and I swear she was wearing a dress that looked like it was patterned after the Black American Heritage flag. So she kind of juked me out with it because I thought she was representing both. She really had me thinking that. And then I went back and kind of did a little listen. She don't mention us in them speeches. She mentioned black people in general terms, just like you said, like Zizi said about him mentioning the boys, about, the black boys, that like general term, black boys, when getting well, when you say black in America, everybody then snatched it out of our cold dead hands, so you can just say that and kind of get away with everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then let me talk about your boy, Dwayne Rock Johnson. If you didn't know Dwayne Rock Johnson, you think Dwayne Rock Johnson with a name like Johnson, you would think he was just full blood Samoan. Now, wouldn't you think that man was full blooded Samoan? If you had to look at his life and look at what he talks about and look who he bigs up and look who he promotes,
You think this man
except
was
when he
born in
thinks he
Haiti
has.
or wherever Samoan is? I think it's in some island. You think he's
Oh,
from
yeah, you
Florida,
would think
born
he
and
was
raised
full
there.
blood.
He
Yes,
got tattoos and all of that.
all of that.
Every
And
single
mind you,
movie, he's shouting them out and all that stuff.
every single movie. And all of his family members that he actually talks to in the public are Samoan. He got full black ass siblings that you have never seen. Have y'all seen this
What?
man black siblings?
Yeah, oh
Have
yeah,
you seen them?
very black.
What?
Somebody in the chat room said Dwayne is the blackest name ever. His name is Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne.
Nah,
His
for
name
real.
Dwayne Johnson. That don't sound like no Samoan. I'm just thinking about that.
Wade
That don't sound
Johnson,
like
for
no
real.
Samoan name.
That's
That's
black
what
as
made me
hell.
hop up on this stage because I had to. When y'all was talking about it, y'all was jogging my memory. I said, hold on. Oh, below. No, no. Let me get to the double tethering. Let me get to the double tethering, my people. Dwayne Rock Johnson's daddy ain't even Black American. Guess what he is? He's somewhat Black American, but he ain't. He's Canadian. He's Nova Scotian. So when you want to do every blue moon when he wants to pull out his black, because he'll pull it out every blue moon when he wants to, like we said, be conveniently black.
Usually it's
When he's
them
being
too.
conveniently black, he's not even representing the black that his daddy is. His daddy is a Black Canadian. Now his daddy does have ties here. I don't want to say that he doesn't. So I would say that his daddy was a part of the Black American diaspora, right? A Nova Scotian, right? But his daddy's not Black American. His daddy is Canadian. So why did you decide that you want to make a film called John Henry? Talking about John Henry. Y'all remember that? When he reached back in his black bag for that blue moon moment? That don't have nothing to do with no Black Canadian. John Henry is a folk tale about a Black American man working on these railroads that we built.
Did he make a movie like about
Yeah,
that?
he made a little animated short movie about John Henry.
Oh wow.
That's not his. That's not technically his heritage. Now he has that Black Nova Scotian heritage is very rich and very interesting, and I wish we could hear more about it, truthfully. But nobody ever talks about it. Everybody wants to latch on our back like a damn spider monkey.
It's like we're the ramp for
The
other people
ramp.
to get ahead. Our culture and our heritage and our lineage and our work becomes the ramp for other people to get ahead. Because if you guys know about the situation with The Rock, he started because his dad was a wrestler, right?
Yes,
And he became a wrestler. He was in the WWE. I don't know if he ever like joined any other wrestling organization, but he was a big part of the WWE. And in the WWE, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? All that stuff. It wasn't none of that was Samoan. None of that was like no foreign
oh
thing.
no
He
no
was a
no.
big
His
buff Southern
granddaddy
black man.
Samoan. His
No, his,
granddaddy
his
Samoan.
dad
He
was,
was
but
a wrestler, and that's all he talk about. He don't talk about his black daddy.
not now, but I'm because I used to grow up and my family used to watch it.
Yeah,
Watch him growing up. He got a lot of the black audience because he was a
he
big,
did.
strong, confident black man.
He
Okay,
did.
now he's past that part of his life. Now it's a thing of paying homage, getting a tattoo of your Samoan heritage or whatever the case is, and all of this stuff. Now is this abundant of going above and beyond to kind of show that this is your heritage and to highlight this aspect of your heritage. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yes,
all like when you were low level, you can just be a Black American. But when you reach a certain level, now you gotta
that's
be
exact. Oh, you
a
putting
special
down what I'm
ethnicity.
telling
You
you.
gotta be something
Yes.
different now.
Yes, because when Miss Dream Girl was on Broadway and she was just doing the Dream Girls and doing her, her singing, she was blackety black. But when she gets on the Oscar and Emmy stage, she's Jamaican, she's Caribbean, and she's rolling all them R's and all that kind of stuff. When she gets to the highest quote unquote stage of them all of a sudden her Black American descendant of slave paternal family doesn't matter. That didn't matter at that point. These Everyone wants us to shut up. They want you to shut up, Afro, because what you're doing is you're shining a light on not only the people that are bi-ethnic, that use their bi-ethnic as a cudgel to knock over our head once they get to a point. You're exposing the people that are ethnically other, that pretend to be Black American, get to their highest level of what they're going to be, and all of a sudden they have a mate like Idris Elba. He as far as everyone concerned, that man was for Baltimore until he gets to a certain level and he decides he wants to talk in you know his little posh accent in interviews after he's gotten a few movies under his belt. Everyone uses our culture and our social cachet to get ahead while simultaneously disrespecting, disregarding, and throwing us away. And if they can, they would love to knock the ladder from behind them as they climb the social ladder so that we cannot achieve what they've achieved. We've watched it over and over and over again. And anyone saying anything different is lying. And that's why these people are in the comments talking this yin yang, lying, projecting, crying. They can't tell you you're not telling the truth. They can't say anyone is telling the truth because everyone is getting up here and giving examples. And you want to act like we're all kumbaya. What y'all don't understand, and y'all better understand, is we don't owe y'all nothing. We don't owe you nothing. We don't have to allow you to take on and steal our identity for tangible things. We've just allowed you to do it just too long, and that's on us. We can say our bad. We can
And,
be we can say that
yeah,
our bad.
and to
We
we
should
would
have been speaking up a long time ago, and our elders should have not allowed these people to get away with this for too
That's
long.
true. Here's the thing. It's easy to, and I'm gonna say this, then we're gonna move on. I appreciate
Yeah.
everybody. We almost got 100,000 likes, so we almost there, right? We almost there. It's easy to play Monday morning quarterback because let's be honest, if y'all wasn't coming in doing that, we're it would have been fine. We don't have an issue with The Rock being Samoan. We don't have an issue with Carmelo being part Puerto Rican, or we don't have a. That's be who you are, okay? There's some people who've been successful and they've always claimed wherever they're from. They've always come over here
Mm-hmm.
and they've never tried to. Cool Herc. Cool Herc has never disguised being from Jamaica, okay? You know, he's not the father of hip hop. You know, some people claim he is. He's never claimed he is. But hey, you from Jamaica? All right, cool. All right. He's never tried to hide. There's other non FBAs who don't try to
Slick
hide
Rick.
not being FBA or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They don't try to do that, and then when they come on now, oh, Cool Herc is Jamaican. No, everybody knew he was Jamaican. Okay,
Yep.
but and the thing is that cool? Okay, somebody saying Sidney Porter, neither did Flash. Cool, but the thing that we're saying is that the way y'all operate, y'all cannot blame us for now us saying, okay, we got to check your paperwork. And now your lineage matters because when it's time to pay homage, y'all want to pay it past us to to your other ethnicity. So we always get skipped over when it's time for people to start getting the credit. So now at the door, we're starting to check your lineage. We're starting to check your paperwork. We asking where your family's from. All right. Now we starting to do this because we understand it when it comes to paying homage. Y'all will sneak y'all way in the door and then pay it past us. And we can't allow that to happen no more. All right. So what we're going to start doing is now y'all have established that y'all want to give credit to y'all ethnicity. I think that's a great thing. I'm so glad that that's happened. I think that this situation is a perfect thing because this just verifies for us that what we're doing is what we need to be doing. This solidifies the reason and it validates the reason for us to make sure that we delineate and for us to make sure that we specify our ethnicity going forward and we pay in particular homage to our ethnicity and culture going forward when it comes to our holidays, whether that's Juneteenth, whether it comes to our festivals, whether that's Essence, when it comes to our traditions, when it comes to whether it comes to the music, whether that's hip hop, all of that. Okay, since this is how we operating, good. That's fine. So that way we can make sure credit is due where credit belongs. We make sure everybody gets their just due credit. Okay. We don't got no issue with nobody, but y'all be on some different stuff. That's the thing. Y'all don't be operating right. That's y'all problem.
You know who's like Rock? What's his name? The Rock.
The
Remember
Rock.
Vin Diesel? We always wondered
I
what
was
his
that's what I was
right
waiting to say.
name
That was my last thing I was gonna say. Yeah, that was my last person, BX. You be reading my mind, girl.
is. Yes, I'm a little psychic. I am. I am, y'all.
that
But
was my last person.
Let me say this too. So Black Americans give pushback to the diaspora or being a part of the African diaspora because, as you can see from the Rock's ancestry, we have our own diaspora, and I was going to write an article about this, right? So what we do know is that some of our ancestors, the key thing here is they weren't emancipated here; they left. And I don't look down on them in any type of way, but we got to be for real. They did not face all of everything that we went through. They didn't face the vestiges. So if they left during slavery era, right? They didn't face the Reconstruction era. They didn't face Jim Crow. They didn't face redlining, not here in the United States. So we descend from the ones who stayed here, who went through all those things. So we are not a part of the African diaspora. We have our own. Our diaspora is this: Canada, Trinidad. Yes, Reggie. We have those who went into Trinidad. I believe there's something called Freedom Town in Africa and Liberia, but I'm very iffy on Liberia because when they Dominican Republic, I can't leave them out because the Dominican Republic, my family are victims of the intra-America slave trade, meaning they took some of my ancestors to the Caribbean and from the Caribbean to here. So I have people in Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and the pesky Virgin Islands as my family, right? But that's our diaspora, right? Because that's stuff that we were harmed by that we can't change. So that's our diaspora. Dominican Republic is surprisingly the ones who want to reach out to us and want to talk to us and want to connect with us. But Liberia, them, they if they're really Liberian, they get on these apps and they talk everything that the regular Nigerians would talk. They say, "Oh, I'm American because my ancestors come from there, and everything else is we do better than y'all. Y'all are doing so bad, your hoods and stuff." So we have members of our diaspora who aren't necessarily friendly to us. So we have our own diaspora. I just wanted to say that those are the places that our ancestors went into. Went to. Oh, Mexico. How could I leave out Mexico? So that's our diaspora. So when we're talking about the Black diaspora, yes, Johnson may have some Black American ancestry, but he's still not like us, right? And he shows it. So he's just a Canadian. Well, not just. He's a Canadian with Black American ancestry, but he's not a Black American, nor can we be fooled by it because his ancestors did not go through all the vestiges that derived from our enslavement era. They left. And they underwent an ethnogenesis on that land. So they're Canadian now. But they could be our cousins as long as they're respectful with it. I just wanted to say that. So that's how come we could say Rock Johnson may have Black American ancestry, but he's still Canadian and he's not Black American. And I just need y'all to understand that our history is not black, white, and white, or just the white T history of it. We know our history, and we know how it should be applied to us.
BX, we might
Correct?
actually have, yeah, we might actually have to do a live just on that alone,
Please do.
Yeah.
just on our FBA diaspora, as you coined it.
Yeah.
We might have to discuss that in and of itself on a whole separate live. Because that history needs to be spoken of.
Can I say one last thing and you can drop me and I'm gonna be quiet?
Real, yeah, okay, you got it.
Our problem is like I was gonna say Vin Diesel, quote unquote ambiguous. He's black. He has Black American ancestry. His cousin is Kwame, the rapper. Anyways, anyways, our real problem is this. We frown upon people that try to pass and deny us. We frown upon people that try to steal our stuff. And we frown upon people that get to a certain level by using our cachet and using our culture. And then they turn around and when they're rich, they make charities for the Caribbean kids. They make charity for the African filmmakers like John you know who I'm talking about, and Idris Elba. Idris Elba then stole a role from a Black American by pretending he's Black American, and the next thing you know, once he gets his money, he wants to make a charity and make a filmmaker just for African people. So the thing about it is they don't never pass it on. They never spread the love. They take what they can take from us and run off and give it to their people. Okay, and that's it. Thank you. Love, peace, and reparations.
All right.
Some
Thank you.
reparations.
Let's get to.
Afro Lee, I want to bring your attention to Mimi.
Yeah,
Mimi
I was
said
just
she's
about to
kind
get
of
to her.
nervous to come up, but she is a friend and a supporter. And she's gonna get, yes, she supports us heavily. So I'm gonna go on mute. I just wanted to make the introduction.
Okay. Well, if BX co-signs you, that's a good thing. So, how you doing, Mimi?
Hello, everyone. I'm from New York. I'm born in '75, and I want to answer about Carmelo. I'm actually raised in that with my black family that intentionally, you know, had kids with Hispanic people, and from my experience from the inside of it, they don't like their blackness. From being raised in Spanish Harlem, the black people that were catering to the Spanish people, because we right here inside of it, they don't like their blackness. What he did in that speech, I have had plenty of arguments with my family. My cousins will say Happy Father's Day, show pictures of my Hispanic, you know, uncles that are married to my aunts. They'll show their picture. They'll show Father's Day. They'll show birthdays. Nothing of my aunts. And I mean, and I'll be like, what the hell? And when they introduce themselves to you, they'll introduce themselves as Hispanics. I'm Puerto Rican. You won't hear black. And if I'm there, I'll be like, and black, right? Because your mama is black, right? So I just wanted to say I'm born in it, and I know that he is from here, and they don't like their blackness, and they make it their business when they get older to get with people to keep dying it down. They don't go to them. My mom and my family, in her family of 9 kids, my mom is the only person that raised my brother and my uncle, I'm sorry, that raised their children as black. So, and it go both ways because the black community did not accept them, you know. And my cousins and my brother knows his Spanish side, but my cousins only know the black side, and they look heavily Spanish, so they got treated real bad by, you know, the blacks, and not quite accepted from the Spanish, even though they look Spanish. So I'm just saying, like, I'm nervous, guys,
Don't
but
don't be nervous.
but yeah, I'm just from a personal view and being grown up in it, and I'm just the opposite of my family, and I've had plenty of arguments because I got family members that were abandoned from their Spanish father, not because they were black, because of circumstances that happened, and you should see them talking. They no credit to their mama that been there their whole life. It's so quick. I'm Puerto Rican. Shut and oh, it drives me crazy. But that like our community don't like themselves. You know, well, here in New York, and they be itching. It's why the takeover happened, because they be itching to die they shit down, and they don't understand. I wrote a paper about this in 2007 in Monroe College, and I'm so sorry I dropped my thing, but I wrote a paper on the black community. When they go out, they killing their own community. They damaging their own community, and I spoke about how it's in my own family, you know. So that's all I wanted to say. He don't like his, you know. I'm pretty sure, and I know Carmelo. I already knew for 10 years. He never talked about it publicly. It was a slip, and that's it. He didn't capitalize on it. Just now, what he did, he put that in the whole world's face because it was specs that he was that. So, and I'm used to it. I'm raised in that, so that's normal. You gotta call them on their shit, but they don't care because they don't want to be down with us. At the end of the day, my family don't want to be down with the community like that. Like, it is what it is, you know. So Anyway, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Oh,
You
and
know,
VX, I really enjoy when you talk because I can't say half of the things that you say, and you from right here, so we know, like firsthand, what it's like to deal with the Hispanics and everybody else coming into the party. But yeah, it's really frustrating. It's very frustrating.
you know,
That's all.
It
to
really is.
piggyback off of what you just said about like the disdain for blackness
Mm-hmm.
within Puerto Ricans would is very interesting because we're having this argument that hip hop was started 50-50 with black Americans and Puerto
No,
Ricans in New York. And I'm glad that
no.
you're able to come up here and speak on your own personal experience, how Puerto Ricans always try to stay away from black people. And
Yes, they
Puerto Ricans
did.
always try to deny
Yep.
deny any and all blackness. So there could be no reality,
Yep.
or it's not the reality that they came together and we both created this genre of music.
No, it wasn't. We did this by ourselves and they, joined on the hill, like y'all said. I'm born in 75. I know for a fact they didn't do that. That was all us. Yes. So, yeah.
Mhm.
And I thought that Busta Rhymes was black. He played himself. Because I was a big fan of his. I used to study him from leaders of the. I love all of leaders in New School, so I thought he was black. I also thought Biggie was black. And when Tupac called him a cosplayer, look how early that was back in the day. And we joined the beef and we took sides, but we didn't know that Tupac was telling the world Biggie's a cosplayer. He's not one of us. Just saying.
Did you know that Puffy's mom is Trinidadian descent?
No, I did not.
Yeah, somebody showed
No,
me this. That
yo, they got us good. Cause there's some black actors, celebrities. You couldn't tell me they wasn't black. Now they Jamaican. Now they Britain. I'm like, get out of here. That's okay. I won't be supporting y'all. None of y'all. If you put a foreigner black person in a role of a black American, I already decided that 2 years ago I will not be supporting. No clothes, no food, no movies, no TV. I'm done. If you want to give them something, tell their damn story. Stop putting them in our story and making money off of our story, and it don't got shit to do with them.
Mhm. Another thing we got to be careful of, especially when it comes to people who are no longer with us, we have to be careful because nowadays it seems as if everybody wants to claim something of this land and claim some importance and relevance in this land.
Mm-hmm.
So what they're doing is that they're pulling people out of the woodworks and saying, okay, well, we're going to put the Caribbean label on him, and we're going to put the Caribbean label on him. For instance, Malcolm X. Growing up, nobody really spoke on Malcolm X being part Grenadian. Nobody spoke.
They didn't.
Now people are starting to say, well, Malcolm X was Caribbean descent. And now they're like trying to pretty much put the Caribbean label on Malcolm X. And that's not something that he was ever, he put to the forefront. And I'm not even, somebody say he was, though. Nobody is denying that. But the thing is that y'all putting a label on him, and that's really not his lifestyle. That's not the way he grew up. That's not what he represented. He did not represent not Ghana, Grenada. He did not represent that. Okay? According to him, according to his own autobiography, that's not what he represented. According to his own autobiography, he saw himself as a black American who was a Pan-Africanist, but you can be a Pan-Africanist and not and be FBA. He did see himself as a Pan-Africanist, not to the way you guys are trying. He wasn't a Pan-Africanist the way y'all trying to define Pan-Africanism today. Y'all trying to define Pan-Africanism today as something different. Malcolm X wasn't really on what y'all on today as far as Pan-Africanism. Okay,
Well,
he wasn't really
I
on
can
that.
say I
But
can say one thing. I can say one thing. I was raised in a group home, and Malcolm X's daughter was my counselor in my group home for over 2 years, and she does not mention any foreigner lineage. She's black. Her father raised her to be a black American.
Yes.
Not he didn't raise her in that, so I could tell you that. Gamilla.
Yeah, Malcolm. Okay, and we're gonna thank you. I'm gonna say this because somebody in the chat room. Then we're gonna move on to the rest of the speakers. I appreciate y'all patience so much. Malcolm X did go to Africa. And there's nothing wrong with Malcolm X going to Africa. There's nothing wrong with anybody going to Africa. Okay. Malcolm X didn't go to Africa and stay there, did he? Malcolm X went to Africa to handle some business, and then he came right back. He didn't go to Africa and be all like, oh, I'm home now. He never said that. He never claimed that. He never claimed Africa was his home and he's going to stay there and live. He never claimed that. He went there for business and then he came right back. All right. So let's not do that. Let's not do that. All right. Let's get to
One thing while Mimi's on the stage. So there are Latinos or Hispanics, because I'm old school. I still get confused with that term. Because we went around saying that Latinos were Spanish. And today in New York, we still say Spanish, correct?
Yes.
Right. So it's not that we're being disrespectful. If you're a Latino and you don't like the word Spanish, I can respect that. The Latinos here call themselves Spanish at
Yes, they
times.
do.
So it's not to be disrespectful. And Terry's there, not to shine a spotlight on her. She's Dominican from New York. And she says, yes, they call themselves Spanish too. New York's just a different breed, guys. So it's not out of disrespect that we're calling you Spanish. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah, I'll end there.
all right, thank you. Let's get to somebody saying Malcolm X did say Africans in America, and that's true. Malcolm X also claimed that we were also indigenous too. Y'all not gonna cherry pick what he said. Let's not do that now. All right, let's get to Boston.
Family.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Second time
You
here.
pressed the wrong button. Your camera's off. I mean, yeah, I'll turn it off for you. Okay. Oh wait, no, that was wrong. Sorry. I didn't know if you wanted your camera on or not. Okay.
All right, so for those of you who are not familiar with me, right? I come from a biracial background, German and Haitian. My father's Haitian from Brooklyn. My mom's is German from Massachusetts. 24 years old. Now, I wanted to interject with the message that Carmelo might have been trying to display on here.
Wait,
I
I'm
saw it
sorry.
as
I'm sorry. You said your family was where? From where again? Let's try.
German and Haitian.
Germany and Haitian. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes. So
Can I clear myself up? Let me correct myself. Malcolm X technically said Aboriginal. He said that black people are Aboriginal here. All right. And black people are Aboriginal everywhere in the world. So if y'all Google it, Google the word Aboriginal. Continue.
so now could it be that he's trying to point out the importance of having a dad in your life by mentioning his pops and the Puerto Rican heritage?
Could it be that? People can make the argument that it was that, but the thing is that when you listen to his speech, not much of his father or fatherhood was brought up. That's the thing. It was really about Puerto Rico and Puerto Rican culture and Puerto Rican heritage. It's not like, I always, wanted to make my dad proud and I always wanted to do my dad right. I grew up without a dad and fathers are so important or whatever the case is. I could see if it's like that, but the thing is if he was to highlight his father, and even if he was to highlight his father and then highlight his father's background, that would be one thing. But you didn't hear much about his father. You just heard about Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it was really even more about his dad than it was about using this opportunity to stamp himself as a Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Important to know his father didn't raise him. That was through natural causes. His father, well, I'm saying naturally because his father deceased when he was 2. So there was no Puerto Rican, as far as I know, unless his mother remarried with a Puerto Rican. There was no Puerto Rican influence in his home. He was raised by a foundational Black American woman.
All right, that's cool. Now,
Yeah.
in reference to hip hop, right? KRS-One sang a whole song in Jamaican dialect called "The Bridge Is Over," right? Do y'all remember that?
School. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Be
So
as
now,
born and raised, family been in New York since 1750. Let's get it.
so now, how come there was no pushback back then?
Pan Africanism and the fact that the beat was catchy and those times we were Afrocentric. Do you understand what Afrocentric is? It was always paying homage to Africa. If Africa was going through a crisis, our hip hop artists here would do what they could within their means to call awareness to what was going on in the continent. I am a Pan African. I was about 14 years old listening to KRS. I got a tattoo of Africa on my right leg and the RBG colors on my back. But that does not negate the fact that even though I love the continent, at one point in time, the continent didn't love us back. Right? So now we're here because a lot of things that they've been doing since they migrated here. It wasn't hard for me to make a choice. Why? Because my black and indigenous grandmother was very instrumental in why I was raised properly when she decided to allow my foundational black American father raise me, right? She cultured me. She took me from my father, then took me to the South, Black Americans' homeland, the South, to live with her and her husband for a few years until she had to send me back to New York. Even then, at times, she would take me back to the South to see her favorite aunt, who would be my great aunt because my great grandmother was deceased by that time. So when KRS-One did the bridge is over, we liked that. We were in the middle of a rap beef. He is from the South Bronx, right? So some of us actually have seen KRS. I was pregnant going upstate to New Rochelle and ran into KRS-One with a woman there. He didn't speak, and I'm looking at him in shock and amazement, and he kept going. So you got to understand that we didn't give pushback during certain times because it was a different culture, and we didn't understand how detrimental Pan-Africanism was to foundational Black Americans. But we realize
Um,
now.
And
Now
okay,
he'll
who
keep
was?
the
I
pushing
want to
back.
thing,
ask
the
you,
thing is that KRS One doing that didn't strip us from the credit of hip hop.
but who's his
It didn't
opponent?
do that. So our thing is not hating everything foreign. I think that that's the part that you guys may be confused about. Our thing is not if KRS One is Caribbean, we don't want to hear nothing about no Caribbean. No, no. If you cool and you make good music, there are Caribbeans who make good music. There are Afro Latinos who make good music. Africans, oh, cool. It's cool, but the thing is that now people are trying to use that to say, well, actually, y'all don't deserve as much credit as y'all claim y'all deserve. So they're using that to strip us from the credit that we deserve and to give stolen valor to the Caribbean, and we can't go with that. Okay?
All right, so
See, that's the
yeah,
thing with us being cool. Every time we get cool with somebody, then next thing you know, our credit is being taken away from us and given someplace else.
so now hip hop is an African American art form, right? Correct, right?
Well, Black American, see,
He'll say
Okay,
Black
Black American.
American.
So his opponent was a Black American, MC Shan, right? Correct, right?
uh huh.
And I didn't look into Shan's background. Is
That
MC Shan
I,
Black
I haven't
American,
heard
y'all?
okay.
otherwise.
No?
I haven't heard
All right,
otherwise.
so all right, so MC Shan made a record called Queensbridge. Hip hop sell out in the park. They used to do it out in the dark.
Studying. They
Okay.
said MC Shan is Caribbean.
MC Shan is Caribbean also. Was he?
Yes, and let me point out who said it because he is a friend to the platform, Himpachi. MC Shan is Caribbean. Does the opponent matter? Why would you ask that?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because you would think that, if MC Shan was FBA, that, he would have, everybody would have,
Are you
jumped on his
questioning
side.
where hip hop started, sir?
Huh?
Are you questioning where hip hop started or who started hip hop? What is your argument?
No, I'm not here to argue. I'm just here to point a couple of things out.
What's your
That's all.
claim?
What's your stance? Yeah, give us your claim, because it's like this is kind of off subject. I think you're trying to touch on the subject in general, but I'm not sure where you're going.
All
Right.
right.
Let me ask
So
you this: were you raised in New York? Let me ask you that.
yes, I was
What
raised in
part?
Coney
What
Island,
borough?
Marlboro Projects, Coney Island. Stephon Marbury used to live two buildings
As
from
a
where
Haitian, what year did your family migrate here?
they didn't migrate. We have Creole peoples from Louisiana and Kansas.
Okay, we're not going to do the whole Haitian Creoles is our Louisiana Creole. You said you were Haitian and German. I want to
Right.
know, when did the Haitian side migrate here?
Uh, I got no idea because my pops passed away at a very young age, right? But he made sure to leave certain things in place and certain behaviors for me to carry on. You know what I mean? And
Okay, so are you trying to give the Caribbean hip hop and say they had some influence in it?
if that's on, could we repeat that question again?
Are you trying to say that the Caribbeans had influence in hip hop or created it?
No, hip hop was created way back then during the Jubilees in the barnyards.
Okay,
So
so
that's
why
my
are you bringing? I'm
Yeah,
confused.
because now
I'm
we're
lost.
like going through the rap beef history and stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly like where this is going.
all right. So it seems like um there is this ongoing thing of claiming, people wanting to claim stuff, claim this and claim that, right? But what do you have in protection to safeguard from your culture being, stolen or taken for granted? Like, what kind of security
Okay,
do you
stop
have?
there,
Like,
stop
who's
there, stop
gonna?
there. I got the answer for you. I know what you're saying. Our culture has been so exploited. How do we expect to take ownership of it now, right? Correct?
No, safeguard meaning like, what do you have in place to protect it?
Right. So this is one form of protection, right? Because the history is being rewritten, and our presence is being erased. So it starts with a call to awareness. Tariq Nasheed did that when he did Microphone Check. The elders who are still alive of hip hop, like Kokla Rock and I'm just gonna stick with Coke Rock and DJ Mario Flowers and their family and all those people are still alive. They're telling their stories. And they don't want to be erased either. So right now, what we're doing, since hip hop is so exploited, we have to correct the history that's being told. We have to teach the accurate history. And being on these panels, when I write my articles, when hip hop historians come tell their story, things like that, that's a safeguard because misinformation hurts because it erases us. We are preventing erasure. You know the truth. You just went back to Jubilee. You know how you did that? Because the South spoke up. The North, who has ties to the South, spoke up. We talked about the history of that. That is a safeguard. That is a protection that even you who is trying to do, I don't know what, give the Caribbean some leg, had to admit that rap could be found in the South with the Jubilees, correct? I think that's a
So
protection because you know the truth. And because you know the truth, I think you're trying to be slick about something.
Yeah,
Tell me what
I don't know
Haitian
if you're
besides
trying to catch
Kodak
us
Black
up,
did
but we're
something for
gonna
hip
have
hop
to. I
and
feel
white
like
class.
this is slowing, and thank you guys. We got over 100,000 likes. This is kind of slowing the room down, brother. So I'm gonna let
all
you
right.
make your
So
point. I'm gonna let you make
yeah.
your final point, and then we're gonna have to move on to the other speakers.
No, I didn't have no point to make. I just wanted to ask certain
Cause you
questions to
okay,
see,
you came
where
up.
you guys stand. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
now,
That's all.
all right, all
I
right.
just outlined the importance of having a father in the home. That basically,
You said the thing
my
about
basic
having a
premise.
father in the home, then you
Yeah.
segue that to KRS-One, and then you try to kind of speak on the beef with him and like, yeah, okay, thank you, brother.
MC
Let's.
Shan. I had no idea MC Shan was Caribbean. I thought he
But
was,
even whether he
FBA.
was or wasn't, like, how was that going to circle back to the point you were making? Like, even if he was, or if he was, what was the point then? MC
The,
Shan being
the,
Caribbean.
so
I mean, FBA.
so
Let's say, because I got to independently confirm that because the chat room was saying one thing and another thing. But if he was, okay, like what if he was? How does that have to do with what you originally?
So you would think that that would have been the end of KRS's one career. Like, where you going with this Jamaican patois stuff? Man, we want English, you know what I'm saying? MC, we going on MC Shan's side. He won the battle. That's what I would expect it.
Oh, that's what you
The
thought.
thing
But now
is
that you
that
know the culture in New York was Pan African, and as long as they said who they were and we could accept them, by that time, by the time KRS One came out, we had Heavy D, right? Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and everybody loved Heavy D. Nobody calls Heavy D a Tezza. Heavy D came out with the bun D and
Even
all of
before
that.
that, we had Slick Rick.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we love Slick Rick. Why? Because they know how to respect our culture. They know how to participate without trying to dominate and take all the credit. The issue with KRS One today is that he came out after we gave him respect and considered him an icon, because not only does he rap well, he also tells history and says things like, we called him a master teacher. To
Yeah,
get that title, you have to be intelligent. He spoke about the Triple K transforming into the police. Where are
facts.
the roles? Karis One made us think, but he came out and did one Tetherish thing that disrupts his credibility. He says we cannot leave out the Puerto Ricans and Caribbeans as if they started everything. They did not. We're not arguing. It's been so exploited that we're not even getting the credit. Y'all are trying to well, not you,
yeah,
but you could be based off of those
Nah,
statements.
nah, nah.
we're
But
gonna
But
no,
I
no,
have a
no, no.
Wikipedia. I have a
So you
but
could
we're
live
Wikipedia
in.
that
not
says
gonna
I'm
Let me make
African
this
hold
American.
on,
example. You could live
come
in
on
New
now.
York. You could be around us, and if you have that Caribbean in you, you might want to erase us too. We are not going to be erased. And people who are Caribbean, people who are African, y'all think that it's normal to migrate out and displace the indigenous people of that land. If you willingly migrated here, you are a visitor in our homeland. This is our homeland. We've been here since before you started migrating. You could not have created any part of our culture. As we said, hip hop's DNA is found in the South. And even the man who's Haitian here admits it. Jubilee.
Facts.
I
Facts.
argue Pigmeat Market. Pigs meet Markham. But Pigmeat Markham is who I resonate with because I know he unalived in New York. But yes, the Jubilee, Pigmeat Markham, them guys, the Mills brothers did break dancing, all that stuff.
Yes,
So I don't understand the reason for your questioning and mentioning KRS One, MC Shan, this one and that one and that one and this one. The Caribbeans are here in New York. They
yeah.
participated, but no way, shape, form, or fashion
Okay.
did they create anything that we
To
got
add
going
on
on.
to add on to that, because I definitely want to get to some of the other speakers real quick. To add on,
Yeah, yeah.
it came off, and I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. It came off like you were trying to like slip us up or something like that, or to catch us slipping with an inconsistency. But truth be told, and I'm gonna say this, and then we can move on. Truth be told, based and now this is way before my time though, but based off of that, I feel like a lot of people kind of had the general consensus that MC Shan won the beef. I felt like the bridges
I think so too.
with KRS One was kind of him low key throwing in the towel. Was kind of
It
him
was
like,
trend. It was just trendy. I never liked
you
it
know what
that
I'm saying?
song
That's
anyway.
kind of like now this is before my time. I can't really tell you what the people was feeling like back in that time or whatever the case is, but from what I've heard about that beef, people say that MC Shan won the beef, but it could be, could not be. Who
All right.
knows?
Y'all
But
have a
it,
great night,
KRS
y'all.
One won.
Nah,
I
I
would
like
argue
MC Shan
KRS
better,
One
man.
won.
you
Nah,
Right?
thought
Look at
KRS
Shan's
One won?
career. Look at well, KRS One ain't doing
nah,
too good either
I'm good.
nowadays.
Okay, but like I said, it's before my time, so I can't speak,
All
No
right.
problem.
accuracy towards
Be
that.
good, y'all.
All
Be
right,
good.
let's
No
Yeah,
beef.
and I want to let this be known, Afro Lee, and I know you're gonna back me up on this. Hip hop. I seen a comment. Hip hop is not the only thing in our culture. We created over 22 genres of music. We have Negro spirituals from the 1600s, right? I wish Ish was here because she comes through with the scholarship. We have 22 genres of music. We created house. We created country. We created rock and roll. What happens is we get exploited. The other people come in. They see that they have the potential to make money off of us, and they sign, they do things. Why you think you got 360 deals and all of this? But we own the rights to everything. We're safeguarding now by spreading awareness to the point that even a Haitian man had to admit that hip hop started with the Jubilees. Let's not be foolish. Black Americans are innovators. We evolve. And I'm finding that everybody else, such as the Caribbeans and the Africans, are stuck. So now they're imposing themselves upon us instead of making us see the beauty of their culture. Y'all got to cut it out. And I'll land there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. All right, let's get to the real Princess Jasmine.
Hey y'all, for the people who don't know me, I'm from Georgia, Solon. As far as this topic, I think for me, because I've experienced it personally, like with having a friend who was bi ethnic, kind of like switch up later. Um, I see this stuff and I guess I kind of take it personal. So I don't know. It's something about people who are raised by their Black American mother deciding when it's the most important time that they're gonna like side with the ethnicity that doesn't not only doesn't raise them but has been racist to them in the past. It is gonna be it would have been racist to them or wouldn't have even claimed them tonight and been like, oh, this is a Puerto Rican winning the Hall of Fame if he hadn't done it himself. Something about that just it irritates me. And it kind of puts me in a position where like I just can't respect it, but also like it's why when people are trying to, pick and choose. I've seen it on this app too. People are pick and choose when they side with things. I'm like, either you're both or just side with your other side because I ain't got time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like if he was always repping both, I don't think we can even have a conversation about this. If every single press conference, if every single award or accolade he ever got, if he was always repping both, then people would say, hey man, he always gave credit to both. He always repped both sides or whatever the case is. Or if he was always repping Puerto Rican, we couldn't really say nothing. He was always repping Puerto Rican. It's like we're starting to see now a sudden switch up of, especially with the cultural kind of tension we have going on with us in the diaspora. We're starting to see a switch up of everybody, you know, within the last few years or so. So now we're calling it out the way we should be. We're acknowledging it. He can be Puerto Rican, but we are going to acknowledge the fact that you claim to be Puerto Rican. Okay, I ain't mad at you. Cool, be Puerto Rican. Cool, do what they do, which ain't basketball, but okay, cool. You know. Uh, before we can, Zizi, did you want to add anything before we continue to move on or no?
No, it's okay.
All right.
Go ahead.
We'll get to Adventures of a Goddess, and then we'll get to Mini Shy Mini Chick Biz.
Hey y'all, so I've been listening for a while. Just to start off, I am black. I'm American. I'm from the Bronx originally. I'm born in '77, so
Mm-hmm.
I was there for the hip hop beef. My family was part of the Great Migration from the South to New York, and most of us have actually moved back down south. Um, just to touch, so I have family that's bi ethnic as well. I have a niece and two nephews that I have Puerto Rican. And I kind of used to think that it was about who raised you. So their mom is Puerto Rican, and I think they identify more with that culture, though they look black. They do, I see, well, in my opinion, identify with that culture more. Like the other guy was saying, they post a lot more about their Puerto Rican side on their social medias, which is, whatever. I really just think that here in America, like they've made black so regular that everybody here wants to be exotic. I don't think people see black people as exotic. So people that are bi-ethnic typically want to identify with the other race or culture. Um, so my niece and my nephews, they both say they're Puerto Rican and black. So my niece and my nephews, they both say they're Puerto Rican and black, because, like I said, they look black. So of course they have to mention what their other side is. But they tend to lean towards their Puerto Rican side. And as far as Carmelo is concerned, I didn't see his speech, but I do remember he had a reality show with Lala back in the day. And I watched it and I never heard him mention anything about him being Latino, having a Puerto Rican father or anything. Now I do remember her talking about her Puerto Rican or wherever she's from. I mean, maybe she's Dominican. Whatever side she's from, she did talk about it, but that would have been a perfect time for him to introduce that Puerto Rican side as well. But he never did. So what I see is, especially in the entertainment field, is a lot of them want to use us as a stepping stool to get where they need to be. And when they get to that level where they know, okay, now I have to be something else, that's when they choose to pull out that other culture or that other race.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
that you. I didn't even think about the show. Like I'm saying, it would. We. I don't think we could even have the room to have this conversation if he was always repping Puerto Rico. If he was from the get go repping Puerto Rico, we can't be all like, "Hey, how can you shout out Puerto Rico?" But we can't help but notice, like, okay, well, this comes to a surprise to a lot of people. This switch up comes to a surprise because you didn't really let it be known that you was Puerto Rican like that. You sure wasn't rocking it and carrying the damn banner. You wasn't doing that. You wasn't flag banging. You wasn't doing that before. Now you want to get an award. Now you want to switch up. So okay, we gonna note that.
right. And I'm looking in the comments, I see a lot of people saying, well, what does it matter? And, like I said, I was born in 77 in the Bronx. I grew up around a lot of everybody's. So it really didn't matter back then. It's starting to matter now as we see different opinions online, as we see these politicians voting against what we're pushing for. It really matters in the political sense, not so much in the everyday music, dance, etc. But politically, we have to be able to identify who's going to be on code with us and who's not. And it seems to be who's on code with us are people that actually have lineage here in America. So on that note, love and peace and reparations, like Bookish said. I'm going to be using that from now on. But I'll land my plane.
Yes, indeed.
Oh,
Somebody
that
said
is
he's
a.
been acknowledged
It's,
it. It's not the issue that he's acknowledged it. To some people knew it. It's the fact that it was never at the forefront of his identity publicly. He never publicly put being Puerto Rican at the forefront of his identity. Don't try to gaslight. That's what we're saying. Okay? That's the thing. Now all of a sudden he gets an award. Now that's at the forefront of his identity. Okay, it's not like he was hiding it, but it wasn't. He was not always repping both, and y'all can lie, but that's only going to prove our point further. It's not like, hey, I'm half this, I'm half that. No, it was not that. She just mentioned the TV show. He wasn't. He wasn't sitting up there repping his Puerto Rican heritage then on his own on a show where he could do that. He wasn't. I can't think of no other interview, no after game interview or anything like that where he was doing that. Did he probably mention it before? Yes. But was he repping it before? No. Okay. He kind of skated his career based off of being a black American. Okay. He rided on that wave. And he knows he did. We all know he did. There might have been a few mentions of Puerto Rico, but he rode the wave of black America. All right. And now when you want to get accolades, now it's about Puerto Rico. We're not dumb. All right. Uh, let's get to mini chick biz. You said mini Mimi
Mimi
chick biz.
cheese.
Mimi chick. Okay.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
How you doing?
So, I'm 51. I live in Texas. I am a fundamental Black American on both sides. Um, I'm married to a Mexican man, and by marriage, we have biracial children. They are fundamentally Black American and Mexican.
You see,
Foundationally.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
about to say you mean foundational.
my bad, y'all. My bad.
No, it's
I black. I black. But I guess I've been listening for a while, and I think the crux of it is that even some of us, it's very obvious with other people, but I think the whole issue is anti-blackness, specifically Black Americans. Um, we just within the diaspora just don't seem to want to be that. It's like we want all the people associated with being Black. They want all the glory, or if it will get them money or anything like that, then they'll be associated with it. But other than that, it's no. And until we can figure out a way to heal that, why so much of that is going on, um, it's gonna be a problem.
Mhm.
As far as reparations, I do think it is important for us to start to like really, really look at that. Because if we do get to a point where we can get what we deserve as far as reparations, it will become a big issue. As far as the WAR that we're fighting right now as Americans with this administration, I don't know how that's gonna play out. So I guess I'm listening to the conversation because I'm trying to figure out, what are the next steps as Black Americans? Like, where do we go from here?
Well, not to get too off topic, if we're going to talk about the Trump administration and politics and everything like that, the conflict, the WAR that we're going through, that's always been there, and it's always going to be there until we end it, till we put a stop to it. It was there when Obama was in office. It was there when Biden was in office. It was there when Trump was in office the first term, and it's here now because it ain't went nowhere. It's not gone when Trump is gone and here when Trump is here. So we just gotta fight until we win. That's why we very focused on making sure the lineage is at the forefront because that's what's leading the charge as far as the fight is concerned. The reparations as far as the fight is concerned, and other tangibles and legislation as far as the fight is concerned. And this, to be honest, this right here is a part of that. This right here is a part of that because this is getting the straightening done in the culture that we need in order for us to really be on code and be in alignment politically. Because it all starts from the ground. The power starts from the ground. So this is necessary.
I hate to be one of those continuous reaction. That was the food, but
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Would you finish, Mimi?
oh damn, I'm on mic.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you mean by this conversation? Is the beginning of that?
No, the conversation about our lineage and how our lineage is not being respected. Essentially, this is kind of essentially what the conversation has been about. Our lineage is not being respected or overlooked because it's not like he dissed Black America, but he overlooked it. Okay, and he shouldn't have done that. So the fact that our lineage is consistently being overlooked, which can be seen as disrespectful, but it's not like he was all like, "Man, Black Americans, they bad." He didn't diss us, but he overlooked us. And the fact that we are consistently overlooked culturally, politically, these are things that we need to speak out on. So in order for us not to be overlooked politically, we need to make sure when it comes to the conversation of culture, when it comes to that, we need to not be overlooked as well too. So this is a part of that.
I agree with you. Thank you for letting me join the conversation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. All right, let's get to where we're gonna get to. how do you say Kisa, uh, Kisak, and then we'll get to striving.
I think it was on here before. Oh.
Hey, what's up, brother Afro Elite? Good to see you again. Shout out BX. Yeah, some people call me Cash. It's
Cash.
Cash second
Okay.
way, but some people, yeah, you can call me Cash.
Gotcha.
Um, so yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm FBA on my mother's side and Trini on my father's side.
Mhm.
Born and raised in the FBA experience, you know. So, oh man, I want to point out some things that Carmelo Anthony benefits from that comes directly from foundational Black American culture. Um, the first thing is people like Allen Iverson, a foundational Black American, is the reason why Carmelo Anthony could wear braids and play basketball in the NBA,
Mm.
right? And you know have that whole style and swag and come in the NBA, you know, wearing chains around his neck like a rapper and with the braids in his hair. Because some of us may not realize this, but at one point in time, they they tried to end Allen Iverson's career for dressing like that, and he was adamant about staying true to himself and saying, you know what, this is my culture. I'm not changing for nobody. NBA tried to find him, so
Hmm.
on and so forth. Also, uh, uh, there was a point in time where um, we don't talk about street basketball culture a lot nowadays, um, but street basketball culture is foundational Black American culture. We have a very unique connection to basketball, and Carmelo Anthony benefited from that. And because you had video games that came out, like NBA Street Volume 2 was one of the most popular games at
I
that
love
time
that.
that
Let me
came out.
just pause it. Let me pause you. I
Uh
love that game. That was one of my favorite games as a kid. I love that game so much. That was a fun game. Okay,
Me too.
the nostalgia, brother. The nostalgia.
You
Woo,
know.
I love that game.
You already know. So,
Yeah.
man, those who know, man. That was like one of the biggest games of that time because it had foundational Black American culture all throughout that game. It was street basketball. I mean, we could go back to the N1 mixtape era, you know, the early 2000s. Carmelo benefited from all of that, and we could even go back before that. Like you had the Harlem Globetrotters that came way before that. You know you had um, also different basketball leagues that were created by foundational Black Americans. So he benefits from the innovation indirectly, like Ice Cube's Big Three. You know, Puerto Rico didn't do that. Puerto Rico didn't create street basketball culture. No offense to Puerto Ricans, right? But just telling the truth, Puerto Ricans didn't make NBA Street Volume 2 what it was, how big it was. Puerto Ricans did not create the Harlem Globetrotters or the M1 mixtape series. They did not make Rucker Park what it is. But so many basketball players benefited from that street basketball culture at Harlem Rucker Park, or
Hmm.
so in the whole Brooklyn,
Yeah.
or Dykeman. You know, we could
Yeah.
go
Some
on
of
and
the people
on.
in the chat room saying even the movies, White Men Can't Jump, Loving
Boom, there
Basketball.
we go.
Like we
Yeah,
basketball has been a very important staple when it comes to our sport. Really, that's our sport for real, for real. Keep
for
going. I
real.
think yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad that they mentioned that.
Again, above the
Yeah,
rim. They said
because you
above
know,
the
loving
rim.
basketball. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, BX. Above the rim. That was a big one growing up. Above the rim. I love that movie. All of that encompassed street basketball culture. And that brother that was up here earlier, the German and Haitian guy, I was waiting for him to make that connection back to the music, but he never did. So I'll make it for him really quickly, right? So hip hop is obviously Black American, foundational Black American culture, right? It's connected straight to the right back to the street basketball culture, right? You had I mean, we're like the probably the only ones, definitely the first to rap about street basketball in the music. Like, basketball is my favorite sport. I like the way they dribble up and down the court. We could go on and on. Um, Curtis Blow, Lil Romeo did it way, way, way later. Lil Bow Wow, Um, so many people in the musically even contributed to that culture. Um, and I'm saying all of this to say Carmelo Anthony benefits from all of this, whether directly or indirectly. And it would have been nice if he would not have. I'm just call it how I see it. I think he has some self hate, maybe a little embarrassment about who he is. I don't know why, because that's what makes him so great. Not to put down the Puerto Rican side of himself, but he should have shouted out foundational Black American culture the same way and with the same, happiness and trying to find the right word, but you get what I'm trying to say, as he did with the Puerto Rican side of himself. Because like you were saying earlier, he mentioned Puerto Rico. He was throwing Goya powder all over the stage, and it's like, bro, how come you wasn't all Puerto Rico during the Olympics when you played on the Olympic basketball team? How come you didn't fly the Puerto Rican flag when you was playing the USA basketball team, right?
Hmm.
And I know some clown in the comment might say, "Oh, but Puerto Rico's USA territory." I get that, but the point is, how come he wasn't representing Puerto Rico flag? He was representing America flag. He was dressed up like a Black American, a foundational Black American all these years.
Hmm.
So I could go on and on, but I'll let somebody else speak on it. But oh yeah, one more thing. His mother, y'all saw how his mother was like shaking her head during the
Yeah, that
speech?
was, yeah, she showed
Man.
disappointment. She was disappointed. She was like, what the, like, yeah. So she didn't even expect him to do that.
Hmm. You know what, brother? I got a question. I want to know what y'all think, man. Do y'all think that he's basically pulling a Fat Joe slash Buster Rhymes on purpose? Like maybe somebody got in his ear or maybe cut him a bag or something to say, you know what, go against those FBAs. We need to put our get them in check or something, to go
That's
against,
exactly
because
what
it
I
was
was
weird how
thinking.
he did that.
Wait, when y'all into the room, because I said that. BX said that. BX said, me, I'm BX. I said, as soon as I seen him, I said, that's that New York Rican is. Black when
Mm,
convenient. And he was up there picking a side. You know what I saw when I looked at him when he was giving that speech shouting out Puerto Rico? I saw, the wannabe rappers who will name themselves after an Italian mobster. All the Gambinos and Gottis, they get on my nerves. That's what I looked at. I said, oh, he's picking a side. He's asserting his stance on the Fat Joe discussion, the hip hop discussion with the N word and who started hip hop. He's asserting his side. That's what he was
mm,
doing on that stage to me. And on Twitter, Black Americans from New York agreed. That's exactly what he was doing. Now, some who are also in the industry because they're DJs and stuff are saying they want to know who made the call to tell him to pull that, tell the move. I ain't gonna take it that far. I just see it for what it is, and I shouted out the Latinos that get it. They know what he was doing, and they know he wasn't right.
Hmm.
So
Because right now, because the thing
it
is
is what
that
it
if
is.
Carmelo Anthony, if he didn't do that, it would have been foundational Black Americans being like, you know what? Shout out to Carmelo. You know what I'm saying? Carmelo is a foundational Black American. We would have claimed him because we should. We should. I mean, he did come from our culture. So if anybody should receive the credit and the accolades of creating someone like a Carmelo Anthony, it should be foundational Black Americans. It should be us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he got ahead of it before we could claim him. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, just so y'all know, I'm not on that side. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want y'all to publicly start claiming me now. Type, you know what I'm saying? So that is, because let's be honest, a lot of these celebrities, they hear about these discussions that we have in the community. They hear about these debates. They see these videos. We go viral too often. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, we go viral way too often. They know if Fat Joe know about FBA, you don't think Carmelo Anthony know about FBA? Come on now, let's not do that. Let's not do that. They brought up FB Foundation Black American multiple times on the Breakfast Club. Let's not do that. Nobody is confused. Nobody they Essence Fest, come on. We all know what's going on with that. Let's Tyler, we know what's going on with that. So everybody kind of know. Joe Buttons brought it up a few times too. That's true too. So Joe Buttons brought that up. Umar Johnson has brought that up. So it's a thing where everybody knows. Not everybody's trying to kind of like pick a lane to stay in, or you don't want to be claimed on this lane, so you want to make sure that you stay on that other lane. Okay, all right.
Hey, also, can I say this? Also, I feel like he did it because as a Puerto Rican, right, he would be the first, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the first Puerto Ricans to get into the Hall of Fame. So that's the only speciality that he can have because as a black person, he's not even top 10, top 15, top 20 of all time. But if he can get in and say, you know what, I'm the first Puerto Rican in the Hall of Fame, he feels like that kind of gives him some type
Yeah.
of concrete throughout history. Like I will be the first Puerto Rican because I'm not a top 20 black player. I'm not a top 20 NBA player ever, but I can be the top Puerto Rican player ever.
Yeah.
So somehow, I think that kind of has something to do with it also. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
if
let the
you was
brother
to
finish.
just aggregate that, it would put him to the top of the list. That's a good point. That's a good point.
Exactly. You don't want to compete with all the black players you would have to compete with. You know, you're not Jordan, Magic, LeBron, D-Rose. You're not none of these guys, but you can be the number one Puerto Rican guy, but you're nowhere near the top of the black guys. So I think that's kind of also what he was playing there.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. A brother delineation is he kind of made that point too. That's a good point. That way his name can always kind of stay relevant in the when we talk about the history of the NBA. Because let's be honest, when the people who don't really watch the NBA, you can name a few names just by the culture. Everybody can name Michael Jordan, LeBron, Kobe Bryant. People can name Steph. People can name Magic Johnson. People, it gets to it becomes a little bit more difficult to name things outside of that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, but if you want to say Iverson, yeah, people can name people like that. But the thing is that only a few of them stand out. But if you're the only Puerto Rican among the group, you stand out. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get kind of be washed in the circle. You're a dime a dozen if you're just a black man who made it to the Hall of Fame. But you stand out if you're a Puerto Rican man who made it to the Hall of Fame.
Or Afro Latina.
Or yeah, Afro Latin, yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Let's get to striving.
Hey, peace, man, peace. Um, I was my little comment about Carmelo is that like the moment I saw his speech, what came to mind was the last time that I was on this stage, and I was hearing a lot of the mother, the if you have FBA and your mother FBA, then you FBA, and the mother is the first teacher and all this and that. I was hearing a lot of that. And this just goes to show that it don't matter if your mother is FBA or if your father is FBA. If that child don't see the value in being Black American, they're not going to identify as that. They're not going to. It's just like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just like what the like one of the previous speakers just said. It's just like it's just being black is just regular.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what I'm saying? And it makes me think back on what I heard Tariq say in his live that he did. I mean his video. He said that Black American culture is almost seen like public property, and that really struck me because that's exactly what it is. It's like it's something that everybody could just come and benefit because, like somebody said in the comments, they said, "What do Carmelo don't owe us nothing," but he actually does because everything about him is Black American. He got put on because of Black American culture, imitating Black Americans, like what the dude just said. He grew up watching Black Americans on that basketball court, copying our moves and stuff like that to make him who he was. So he actually do owe. You know what I'm saying? And what we doing right now, because of what somebody else just said, is that how do we change that? Like we have to start out of adding value to the culture, and that's what we're doing with the gatekeeping. You know what I'm saying? When something is restricted and closed off, it just that restriction on it adds value. You know what I'm saying? Because growing up, I would think to myself, because when I would deal with when I read about history, and I'll be reading about biracials and stuff, and I would think like, dang man, you got some of these biracials who white side of their family treat them like trash, and regardless of the fact that that side of their family treat them like trash, it's still something in them that makes them want to connect with that. To me, it's because just the fact that they closing them off, cutting them off, it's I don't know, it's like something about that as a yearning. You know what I'm saying? And I guess in a way gives it value. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna land. I'm gonna land with this is that once us keep doing what we're doing right now, gatekeeping and all that is gonna add value and change the narrative, and just like with this immigration thing. Once Trump start talking about the 14th Amendment and it being meant for Black Americans, people start seeing, oh, it's value in that. Because they didn't want to get their ass, they didn't want to get deported.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I'm saying. So yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a land with that.
You know, when you say it is people, they don't owe us anything, that just really goes to show everybody's lack of appreciation and everybody feeling as if exploiting us is not that big of a deal. What do you, how do you owe Puerto Rico and you don't owe us? Puerto Rico doesn't have a basketball culture like that. Now, if you went to Puerto Rico and became successful, if we went to Puerto Rico and became successful in anything, music, sports, anything, and we said, I don't owe Puerto Ricans a damn thing, I don't got to give Puerto Ricans credit for nothing, they would all say that that's disrespectful. We would even say that that's disrespectful. How do you come over here? You're successful with our culture over here. The NBA, pretty much we've made the NBA. The NBA was not no big thing before black men started joining the NBA. It was black men really who put the NBA on, if we gonna go there for real, for real. Even when it comes to the shoes, it was black men in particular in the NBA who started having a signature shoe. It was Clyde. I had to look up his full name. It was Walt Clyde Frazier, who had he was the first NBA player to have his own signature shoe. Everybody knows about Michael Jordan, which is really, if there was there's a couple of documentaries about how that kind of saved Nike, because Nike was falling behind Adidas at the time. All right, and it was the Air Ones from Jordan that, shout out to Chicago Bulls, shout out to, that saved Jordan, that saved Nike. You know what I'm saying? And then, because the NFL tried to, I said NBA, I said NFL. The NBA tried to fine him because there was regulations, just like Cash was talking about. Black foundational black American men went into the NBA, and we started changing a lot of this stuff to where the NBA is how it is now. Look back in the day in the 70s and stuff like that. The shorts was all the way up to damn near the crotch area and all of that stuff. It was up until black men came in and the whole fashion of the NBA changed. The jerseys were baggier, the shorts were baggier, they fought against the restrictions on the shoes, the restrictions on the hair, the restrictions on what type of jewelry you can wear, and all of that stuff. It was foundational black Americans who went in and completely rebranded damn near the NBA. All right. And it was our culture that carried the NBA and basketball as a sport in general. So yes, you owe everything to our culture. Because if we didn't make the NBA pop, your success wouldn't be relevant, to be honest. You probably wouldn't even be in the NBA, truth be told, but your success wouldn't be relevant. Low key, high key, to be honest. Um, let's get to
Does ZZ want to? And you heard a lot, ZZ, and you've been just sitting there. I would love to hear your perspective right now.
Well, I do agree with the brother Cash. I'm actually glad glad he did bring that up. About the other contributions Black Foundation of Black Americans have contributed to popularizing basketball. It's as far as our movies and our music and things of that nature. So that's a very good point. But it ultimately, what it is just it emphasizes why what he did and exposes why what he did was so disrespectful. Because when you say something like "I got my soul from Puerto Rico," nigga, you ain't get no soul from them rice and beans. You didn't get no soul from them tacos. You didn't get no soul. That's not where the soul came from. So, and he knows that. Using that particular term, soul, that came from here. That didn't come from nowhere that you met in Puerto Rico. It didn't come from DR. It didn't come from Mexico. It didn't come from anywhere but here. You know that. We're the ones who use soul food, who have soul food, who make soul music. You know that. So and that's why I'm like, the more that we kind of talk about it makes me feel like what he did was more intentional, because for you to use that wording like that, it's like it's a slap in the face. It's like, yeah, I'm black, but yeah, I really got all the good shit from my Hispanic side, and you don't know anything about them. So yeah, I kind of started giving him the benefit of the doubt, like maybe he's, this is this is a bad look, but maybe he's just, one of these Negroes is, got some self-hating issues, or he got daddy issues, and this is the way it's coming out. But now it kind of feels more like, yes, you might have got paid to say it like that, like for real, And I know somebody just mentioned like that. That's what the brother was just asking. But these people watch us. These celebrities, they watch us. They know what we're talking about on the grassroots. That's how they stay connected. They see it. So it's not far fetched at all to believe that he was paid to get up there and be like, "Hey, make sure you go up there and emphasize that Hispanic side." They've done it before. I've said it before for other celebrities who've done similar things. What's her name? Gabrielle Union. I think she was paid to push the LGBT thing. So I think all of them have roles, and they all have time. It's all in intentional timing. So the fact that he does this now, when we're pushing this delineation, is not a coincidence. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. It's feeling like this brother's getting paid to detract from what we're trying to do.
What's his name? Noble Live says that he is black from New York City. I don't know if he's Afro Caribbean or where he is, but he wants to just state that Melo's been Boricua, and that the NBA pushed the Boricua heritage back in the day. So he don't know what we're talking about, basically.
okay. Well, yeah.
He wants to come up if you
He
could
can
do that.
request. We not gonna be on too much longer. We've been on for like about 3 hours now, so we don't need to be on too much longer, because I'm a busy man and I have things I have to do after this. All right.
No
Um.
problem.
So yeah, if you want to come up and you want to say something real quick, but the thing is that no, if it was well known that he was Puerto Rican, nobody would be having this. Nobody would be having this conversation or saying anything. The thing is that this comes so kind of to a surprise to a lot of people, because that has not been the side that he's bragged about. He's mentioned it. It's not like it's a secret, but the thing is that it's been something that is brought up so seldomly, a lot of people didn't know about it. And it's never been something that when he had the opportunity, he made sure that that was at the forefront. You bringing up him being Puerto Rican, or him having Puerto Rican heritage, because he's not Puerto Rican, but having Puerto Rican heritage or lineage is one thing. But then you're branding yourself as a Puerto Rican and saying that's where your soul is from, that's where your culture is from, that's where your drive is from, that's where this is from, that's from. He's not done that before. You can't pull no clip up of Carmelo Anthony doing that before to make it seem like, oh, this is just how he operate. This ain't how he operate. He ain't ever operated this way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to say this. The fact that he might have brought it up sparingly and now he wants to come out and damn near do the mariachi dance or whatever the case is. Okay, we're seeing the switch up. And like I was saying before, especially with the delineation going on, it seems to be when you reach a certain level, now you want to other yourself, or now you want to push some type of, well, actually, I'm part Puerto Rican. Actually, I'm an Afro Latina. Actually, I'm part African. I'm part Caribbean. Something that you never decided as you're coming up to distinguish yourself as. You never really claimed that. You never really brought that up. You didn't rep your other side. You didn't rep that as you were coming up. Just like Busta Rhymes, you didn't rep Jamaica or the Caribbean as you were coming up. Now that you kind of at the peak is over, now that you want to rep it, it's like there's a glass ceiling that y'all can't pass unless y'all do that, which is something that we've been noticing for the last few years or so. All right. And if y'all want to come up and disagree, y'all got a little bit of time left because we're not going to be on too much longer.
I
Yeah, I
want
gotta
to
get
say
him off it,
something.
baby. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Oh, sorry. I got a funny story for y'all. So Noble, I think his name is Noble, who wanted to come up, also said in New York City, Spanish restaurants or Spanish people have soul food. They will make our dishes such as macaroni and cheese. That's it. My neighbors, throughout my time of knowing them, will not make things like sweet potatoes. So my son had an extra bushel of collard greens, and I said, "We don't need all those collard greens. Go give it to whoever's outside." He goes outside. It's my Latino neighbor, and then a black and indigenous woman. So the black and indigenous woman took the collard greens, and the Latino's like, "Oh no, no, I eat them, but I can't make them. I don't need them. Give it to her." So they have their limitations within our culture. Proximity does not mean, and they may make a dish, does not mean that they are like us, should be taken like us, or even understand something that we say is customary, something that's customary to us. Who doesn't know how to make collard greens unless your mama ain't teach you? Unless it's not in your blood. And
Yeah,
even
he's
then, my
up here.
son,
I don't know if you saw him,
ah,
but yeah,
okay.
Noble Live is
I'm
up here.
monologuing. But it was funny. She wouldn't take those collard greens, y'all, and she won't make sweet potatoes, but she'll
You
make
got
the macaroni and cheese.
it, Noble.
I was just saying, New York is different. I don't know where the people on the panel is from, and Miss BX, a New big York, melting New pot. York. You all right? You know for a fact because you in the Bronx, right? You know for a fact you make your friends depending on who, how I they can need your defend ethnic themselves. background. I need your ethnic background. I'm all the way black, and my kids live on Kingsbridge. No, no, hold on. My mother's Do from you Noble descend from Avenue. United States chattel Yes, slavery? Okay, what state? and mixed with others. Okay, what state are your people from? Effingham, South Carolina. Thank you. And we Continue. had the property And don't since say you know for a 18. fact, We BX, had the because property I there got since Latinos who want to 1880. fight me for telling the truth. So Well, don't I say what got I know for Latino a fact. godparents for my I know what son. y'all be lying about. Go ahead. I got
I'm
Latino
gonna let you make
godparents
your
for my
statement.
son. All I'm saying is New York is a melting pot. You base your friends on how they can defend you and how they can defend themselves. It will, and you also base your friends. And if you was hungry, would they feed you? And that's how you make friends in New York. You don't make friends based on your lineage and your lines because your people in your lineage might not be able to defend you in New York. You roll with who can defend you and who you could defend and defending yourself. So people mix up like that in New York, and she knows that. And she know it ain't I just know black what I in know. Puerto
Okay,
Okay, hold
hold
on,
on
hold on, because you're
before you
saying what I
veto. How
know.
does that tie that with Carmelo Anthony? How does that have to do with Carmelo Anthony?
Carmelo we been knew Carmelo was half Puerto Rican. Oh,
No,
since day
no,
one.
that's
Since
because
day one.
Here's the thing. That's a straw man argument. Whether we first off, it's not a been known thing. It's people who are fans of Carmelo may have known that, and people
Well,
who
that's what
follow
it is. New
basketball may
York
have
is a
known that.
big
But
fan
the
of
point,
Melo.
hold
For
on.
the whole of
But
New York.
the point is not the fact that he's half Puerto Rican, and we didn't know that. The point is the fact that when he had the opportunity to give accolades and to pay homage to the culture that bred him to become the success that he became, he gave it all to Puerto Rico. He didn't split it
Well,
50-50. He gave it
I got to see
100%
the
to Puerto Rico.
context. I got to see the context of the
No,
interview
okay,
when it
if you
came
haven't
up,
seen the
what it
video,
was
if you haven't
about.
seen it, stop.
I
If
have
you have
not.
not
I
seen the
have not.
video, brother, then there's no need to
What
speak
I
on it
do
because this
know
is what we've
is,
been talking
what
about for
I
the last
do
few
know
hours.
is, what I do know is, as a person, I've been coaching kids for over 15, 20 years. Carmelo gave the best tournaments in Brooklyn, and he gave the kids the best trophies. He gave the best uniforms, and he even gave out rings for his tournaments when he had them out there. Ain't
And
nobody never did that
and
before
that's good for
for the
Carmelo.
winners.
We're not hating on Carmelo. We're
Well,
specifying
let him
something.
rep who he want to rep. Who's
No,
Puerto
I'm
Rican? His
not trying to
mom's or his
claim.
pops?
No,
Who's Puerto
nobody's
One
Rican?
trying
His
to
minute,
mother
claim
one
or
that.
his
minute,
No,
father?
Noble.
stop,
Who's
because
Noble,
Puerto
this
hold
is
on.
Rican?
bigger, brother. This is
All I
bigger
You
asked
than
say
you,
just
Puerto
Puerto
Carmelo.
Rican,
Rican,
If
his
you don't
Noble?
mother
cut
or
this
his
out,
father?
stop, because you're gonna get me back to how I was earlier.
I'm
If
a,
you don't
I'm a
stop,
drop, bro. I ain't
no,
trying
you
to
are
have
gonna
no
get kicked
trouble.
out. You ain't gonna drop. Okay.
I'm sorry, Apple. Go ahead and then I'll
what
speak
I'm what
after
I'm
you.
trying to say is that it's not the fact that he can identify with being Puerto Rican. He can do that. Yet y'all made that same dumbass argument with Tyler. Well, Tyler can be colored if she want to be colored. Why are y'all trying to make her be back? You trying to make it seem like we're making somebody be something that they're not. No. But what we're not gonna do is we're not gonna sit up there and allow y'all to rep y'all lineage, and then when we want to rep our lineage, y'all call it divisive. If everything was everything, we wouldn't be having this. But every time we try to rep our lineage, highlight our lineage, whether that's Juneteenth essence, whether that's hip hop, whether that's R&B, whether that's whatever, y'all say we are divisive. Hell, whether that's soul music, y'all say we're divisive. Okay, then the second y'all get accolade or two, y'all want to rep y'all culture, even though y'all culture, y'all kind of giving stolen valor because y'all culture don't deserve as much credit as y'all trying to give it. Y'all want to rep y'all culture for all of y'all success. Okay. So no, we're not going to do that because that's living with this double standard of we got to be quiet and y'all can be loud. And that's not, in our homeland, we ain't going for that no more.
Exactly. So I'm going to say this about New York. Everybody knows that I'm honest about everything. New York is also very segregated. The fact that you come from Brooklyn shows me that you're around a lot of gentrifiers. The fact that I grew up in the South Bronx will show you that I'm around a lot of Latinos, and I know where the Jamaicans are because they are in the uptown side of the Bronx. I'm always honest. Just because we lived in close proximity does not mean that we are the same or that they necessarily understand us. Because if they understood us, that Carmelo Anthony, who has foundational Black American heritage, would have got up there and gave equal credit to his parents. We're not saying deny your Puerto Rican heritage, but come on, homie. I'm 50. When I was growing up, Puerto Ricans were in the handball court. Black Americans was on the basketball court. Don't tell me how I make friends, because my friends can't say the N-word around me, homie. That's what they can't do. Get it? I can't. I go to a shop. I face microaggressions in New York by dark-skinned Hispanics. So don't tell me how I make friends, because you probably let them say the N-word, and I don't care if they make what you think is soulful. They ain't making collard greens with ham hocks. They not doing that. They ain't making sweet potatoes. They ain't doing that. The most they doing is macaroni and cheese. Now, while it may taste better than the Jamaicans, they know their limitations too, because she wouldn't even take the bushel of collard greens. So we got to be, your experience is anecdotal. So if people knew that he was a half by ethnic with Puerto Rican, that's because they were around him. They from New York. What did I say when I first got on the stage? I said, oh, that's that New York Rican shit. That's black when convenient, because I know them. So you can't tell me you from New York, you gotta know. I know they're very anti-black, homie. I know they say the N-word more than us, but I know my friends can't say that. And I know they ain't making collard greens, and they ain't making cornbread, and they ain't making all that other stuff. Cut it out.
All right. All right.
Because you're
This
a
place,
fool.
yep.
You probably get the pass for them to say the N-word. I don't like Negroes like you. Stop telling BX what BX knows, because I'm the only one up here, right, from New York that's trying to set the record straight. I brought up a woman from New York who's black and Hispanic or Spanish, because me and her say black and Spanish. She gave the real of it. And here you come, a shucking and jiving Negro, trying to tell you don't understand ish. And all you can say is you're black. What are you? Afro-Caribbean? Cut it out. Don't tell BX what I know or how I make friends.
I'm starting to BX. Have you starting to realize when we ask where they're from, they be all like, "I'm black, black. I'm black, black, black." You know what I'm saying? So they can kind of skate by their ethnicity because black, black, black is not an ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? So every time we say, "Oh, where are you from?" "Oh, I'm super black. I'm blackity black black." You know, no, we don't know what that means. Okay, where does black, black, black come from to you? Okay, like we not gonna imply that you one of us. You need to state where you from. We're not doing that. You know. Zizi, you want to have anything closing to say, and then get this wrapped up?
Yeah. People are using, I mean, these people understand what our point is. Okay. They understand, they see the disrespect. We don't have a problem with you wanting to recognize your multicultural background or heritage, whatever the case may be. But there's just a respectful way of going about it. You know, he had that little Puerto Rican tattoo on his hand for a while. I seen a clip of him. From like, I think it looked like it was like early 2000s, and he was talking about it. But even in the clip, it's funny because even in that clip, I should have brought this up in the beginning, I forgot. But even in that clip, the interviewer is like Puerto Rican, and the Puerto Rican is like, the interviewer, he's like, yeah, you know, you have a Puerto Rican grandma, but you know, you Puerto Rican, and Carmelo's just kind of laughing. He's not saying, yeah, you know, I love Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico gave me home, gave me so. He's not saying. He's just like, yeah, you know. Shout out to y'all, hola. That's it. And he almost looked a little uncomfortable, you know, from this Puerto Rican or Hispanic interviewer trying to put that on him. So it's like, it's funny just the shift in energy that we see. These people understand. They know what's really going on. Okay, if he was always representing the way he is right now, then we would know what it was. We would know he's an Afro Latina. We would know what it is. It wouldn't even be a conversation, like you said. But we know, we've seen the track record. I don't even look at basketball that much, and I can tell you, my whole life, I thought this nigga was just FBA. Like, I just thought he was Black American. I had no idea, even with him having that flag on his head. I didn't even know he had a flag. He was married to, I know, I used to know a little bit about Lala Anthony. I never heard anything of her mentioning him having some sort of Hispanic heritage. So it's like, yeah, don't try to gaslight us like we crazy. Don't try to put. They always try to do this thing where they're projecting or try to point the finger back at us. So y'all are being xenophobic. Y'all are being hateful, and it's like, no, we're calling out the subtle but still effective propaganda they're using and rhetoric they're using to separate themselves from Black Americanness. Don't get mad at us when we're just calling it for what it is. Stop doing what you're doing. Stop trying to play both sides of the fence. Pick a side, because we're delineated. We know what side we on. Okay, we know where we come from and what land we got claim to. So you confused Negro, you need to figure it out. Don't point the finger back at us. Point it at yourself.
I remember when Michael B. Jordan went viral for making the Gervais rum the drink, and it was a bunch of Caribbeans saying, "You are not Caribbean, you are not Caribbean," and they said it was cultural appropriation. And I just tweeted, and this was in 2021 when we first started kind of really getting the delineation thing going, the conversation going. It was 2020 or 2021, I think it was 2021. And I said, hey, okay, cool, y'all feel free to participate. Like, this is, our culture is universal, and y'all is up to public domain, and y'all get to participate how y'all want to. But when we start keeping the same energy, watch y'all start calling foul. I said that years ago, okay, going on 6 years or 5 years ago. All right, now we're starting to keep the same energy. Okay, if you're gonna rep your heritage, we're gonna rep our heritage. Don't be, okay, it's universal. We all Black, we all from the motherland. When you want to benefit from it, and then when you want to flip, and now you Puerto Rican. No, oh, we keeping the same energy. And what y'all are trying to gaslight us to do is y'all want to keep operating that way, but y'all don't want us to operate that way. So y'all are claiming y'all not doing that. But we're calling you out every single time you do it. Whether that's Carmelo, whether that's Tyler, whether that's Essence, whether that's Juneteenth, whether that's Fat Joe, whether that's whoever. Every single time you do it, and we say, okay, see, that's proof we need to be doing the same thing. She's proof we need to be doing the same thing. He's proof we need to be doing the same thing. Okay, even when it comes to politics, Okay, we see Westmore. Oh, that's proof we need to not let his ass up in there. Okay, we see Brian Daniels. Oh, that's proof we need to not let them in there anymore. The Black Caucus, quote unquote, that's proof we need to not let them in there anymore. Okay, and y'all don't want us to start operating that way, so you guys gaslight and you lie and act like we reaching and tripping off nothing. And that's not the case. You're not gonna play us. And if y'all want to listen to the playback of this, y'all need to subscribe to For the Culture on YouTube. Okay, y'all need to go to that channel. I'm telling y'all, that channel is so good. That channel got so much good stuff, man. Y'all gotta go to that channel and subscribe to that channel, and then you can see me and ZZ stuff is in the descriptions in that channel. So that way you guys can follow our own individual YouTube platforms.
I want to say this. Since I came on TikTok and started joining panels, I have always told the truth about everything. And especially from New York, because I noticed that the immigrants are embarrassing. I noticed those who sympathize with them are even more embarrassing. Y'all don't understand what it's like to face erasure as a New Yorker. We don't have the most immigrants. We're like number 6 on the list, but they're so emboldened here, and it's all because they think hip hop is our only culture, right? And that our culture is exploited here. This guy is going to talk about FBA mostly get their income from Section 8 and mentions Yakub. That shows me his mentality. He's not operating from a viewpoint where he could be honest, fair, and tell the truth. So here in New York, when I first started going on Shabu's lives, Shabu is also from New York. He's from Harlem. I'm from the Bronx. He hosts a lot of lives. His form of activism for his culture, his community, is telling the truth about hip hop. Do you know, when you tell the truth about the Latinos in the Caribbean, one demographic always wants to fight me? One demographic, the Latinos. Right? And those who support them know that if I was not telling the truth, they wouldn't even be mad about it. They even wouldn't want to be fighting with me. What Puerto Ricans are doing are fighting for their life, because nothing about them is standing out in a place that they thought they had ties to. They don't have ties to breakdancing. They don't have ties to graffiti. Like everything they're doing now, as far as hip hop, foundational Black Americans started it. I will not lie about that. I say how segregated New York City is. And I also say at the same time, we can have wonderful relationships with them, but the collective of their people aren't for us. So don't come up, and this is why I'm passionate, because you don't get to come up here when I've been on this app fighting against not only the erasure of my whole culture, but specifically in New York, because I descend from those who were enslaved here. So it ain't the land of immigrants to me. It's the land of erasure. So you're erasing my people. So don't come up on this app. I don't care if you FBA or not. When I say, listen, do the proper research so you can have the proper numbers, that's what I mean. Because anything else is erasure. And what that man did was erasure to say, you know for a fact that and this is how you pick your friends. Well, I know one thing, homie. They can't say nigger around me. That's how I am. And for you to come up here and think that I'm like you, no, I'm not. Now, I have beautiful Puerto Ricans that I love, right? That's because of my spirituality. Right? And they dominate that field. But at the same time, I tell them the same thing. I start telling them about Black American history. I start telling them about what's offensive to us. We have talks about racial identifiers. What do you want to be called? African American, Black American. I ask them, is Hispanic or Latino offensive to you? Because these are new terms to me. I'm old school. I called them Spanish all my life. So you got to understand that, well, maybe I'm just, the outlier. I'm just different. I understand how to share culture and not appropriate vulture it or put somebody else down for thinking differently. And I don't expect you to come up here and do the same to me. But when you bordering on erasing my culture, my ancestors, my history here in New York, then we got beef, homie. We got problems. You, I think, are a divester. You probably want to sleep with the other side. And so, therefore, you're going to allow and take up for them more than somebody like me who ain't enamored by them. My tone, it seems aggressive and masculine, but if a Latino came up here and was in the same tone, you say she was sexy and spicy. These are the things that Black American women have to go through, especially in New York. So don't tell me I'm emotional. No, I'm checking your ass. That's your anecdotal experience. You think they make soul food. I say they just make macaroni and cheese because they won't make the cornbread, the collard greens, the yams, the potato salad, and all that stuff like us. So they ain't like us. Proximity does not mean the same, and conveniently, only foundational Black Americans know we different. And if you think foundational Black Americans ain't here, just watch our reparations meetings. Because we there, we loud, and we proud. And not only the Latinos, but the Caribbean are trying to tether themselves onto us. Meanwhile, they're having the parades just for them. Puerto Rican Day Parade, Dominican Day Parade, West Indian Day Parade. Y'all know we different. Y'all know we culturally different. And you know that some youth get chased out of Spanish Harlem for being Black. Okay? Y'all know this. So don't get up on this app and start lying to me. Because even in 2025, that's still happening. Don't tell BX what I know, because I know what to say what I know. And one thing I'm not is a liar. Because I always have somebody saying, word BX is right. The lady just said, you say all the things that I can't say. And she feels she can't say it because of her Spanish side. And she won't be seen taken different, seen as being, you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have people that want to speak up. So I'm like a voice for them too. Because they want to tell the truth about stuff. But we got people like Noble coming up here. If you know for a fact, you know for a fact. No, I know for a fact that you're wrong and you're throwing your culture under the bus if you're even FBA. It's okay to have friends from other cultures, other races, other this, other that. But you got to stand on lineage business sometime. And you got to tell the truth about the intra-dynamics of our relationships with these people, because they're the one that's upholding all the systems that was designed to disenfranchise Black Americans. So when you say we don't have the keys because we don't have no ownership, we've been disenfranchised here. We've been disenfranchised. New York is not the place of unity. It's the place of the snakes, because they're suppressing Black Americans and using manipulation to get what they want. And y'all don't see that. Cut it out. It's annoying, Afro-Elite. Do you know what erasure is? Another form of erasure is to have something happen in New York and it be an immigrant that did it, an Afro-descendant immigrant that did it. And I have think pieces from everybody talking about how everybody, all FBA left. And that's why it's Tezerville and all that. No, we're still here and we're fighting our erasure. Don't be on the outside contributing it by saying we're all gone. That's a form of erasure. You're supposed to reach out to us and say, how can I help y'all? Do you need to be on my podcast to tell your story? I be in these comment sections swinging for my life. And one thing I noticed, there's always a Black American swinging with me. And you know what those creators do? They overlook us. And they're using Wikipedia sources. Cut it out. Stop it. Please, it's erasure. And I know Callie's hurt because I got a young brother who's FBA and he reaches out to me in the back chat. BX, you don't know, I know you know that how it feels to be the only FBA. I need to connect with more FBA here. Y'all people think it's normal to go around erasing the indigenous Black people. It's not.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That's deep. That's deep. I'm gonna let you close us out. Now that's a powerful way to send us off.
Wait, did Randall speak? Do you have enough time to let
Did
Randall
Randall
speak?
speak? I thought Randall did speak. Randall, did you speak yet or no?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
You
Go
get 1
ahead.
minute. 1 minute.
Well, I'll try to be quick. I'm 59 years old, 6 months away from 60. I'm out of Fort Greene, Brooklyn, New York. The reason I requested up is this nonsense they talking about other people being part of hip hop. I was there. I was in the streets. I was running up to Harlem World and into the Bronx at the jams and stuff like that. And although they may have been other people like his Puerto Ricans and some West Indians involved in the music, they were not the creators of the music. They did not influence the music. It was like, just imagine yourself. Just imagine yourself going to get a job that you've never done and you're not part of. You're joining it, trying to do what was already there. And that's to the extent of these other people. And I am FBA, 100% FBA. In fact, Dr. Umar is a sixth cousin of mine, I think 2 or 4 generations removed. Frederick Douglass is the first cousin of mine, 5 generations removed.
So y'all are related to Frederick Douglass. That's so. So
Yeah.
there is a Frederick Douglass tie in y'all family tree, huh?
Yeah, there is.
Well,
Frederick
look at
Douglass,
that.
his
So that's
aunt,
what I'm saying.
his aunt Priscilla is my fourth great grandmother. His his grandparents, but both his grandmother and grandfather are my fifth great grandparents. So yeah, there's a tie. We all come from those two. Basically, you can link us all back to Isaac and Betsy Bailey. They all come from there, down that line.
All
And
right.
anyway, I wanted to point out this thing about erasure is going on, is still going on to this day. I'll tell you this, and people don't believe me when I tell them this, when I do get the opportunity to tell them this, but they got a new form of activism out here now. Some people with it, some people understand it, some people don't. It's called First Amendment audits, go around auditing the government, stuff like that. It's got to the point that the FBI and sheriff's offices and police departments all across the nation has created memos about it, put out guidelines for this. And people, and if you look at the biggest First Amendment auditors now, they're pretty much all Hispanic, either in New York or in California. They're Hispanic dudes, but they won't tell you the person they're trying to erase is me, because I started that. I was the first one to do that, and they all know it. That came from me by myself with no organization. So even with that erasure, they try to downplay what we do, not give us credit. I go online from time to time, and it's only actually white people out of California or out of Minnesota. I see from time to time, I'll see a video, they'll post about me saying, yeah, I am the original one who started this thing. And but yeah, they continue with that erasure to this day. And I'll land there. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right. And I appreciate your patience, brother. Thank you. New York represented well tonight. Shout out to New York. Y'all represented really well tonight. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you. I love us for real, foundational Black Americans. Those in diverse cities will have friends from other demographics. I noticed the South saying that they weren't really, raised with other demographics, and that is fine. What I don't like is when people try to separate New York specifically from the South. I do have Southern roots as well as my Northern roots. So I say all of this to say this. If you lived in close proximity with a New York FBA, you're not an expert on our culture, nor should you think you are. When I am speaking, please know that I'm going to be honest about it. At the end of the day, my kids are half Caribbean. At the end of the day, I have a tattoo of Africa on my leg. But at the end of the day, my father, my grandmother, my mama, everybody is FBA. So therefore, right? Therefore, it was a no-brainer to pick the right side, the side that makes up my blood. I have to say this, my family was also victims of the intra-American slave trade, and that's how I can have relatives from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, Virgin Islands, this and that, right? So my grandfather is a member of our diaspora. He just has Black American ancestry because of my fifth great grandmother, born in New York and taken to the islands and then brought back here. Okay? So all roads for me from my north starts in New York. And because of New York, I have all this culture. But because of New York, we experience certain things. We're being erased up here, right? In the South, I get all my culture from them too. I cannot pick either or. South comes first. That's our homeland. I just don't know how to put it into words. So I got to say this, stop erasing us. Stop erasing us. New York is a unique place, and we're being erased here, but we were enslaved here. Our bodies were the first on Wall Street. We had one of the earliest slave revolts on this land. Those are the people that I speak for when I speak for New York and say it's not the land of immigrants. It could not be the land of immigrants if Black people were here and underwent all of that. So I can be respectful. I can speak to my Puerto Rican cousin. I can speak to my Dominican cousin. I can speak to a Caribbean cousin. But at the end of the day, I'm still foundational. It's just that the intra-American slave trade came and interrupted some of our ancestors' lives. We respect that. And they respect that I'm Black American. And y'all got to cut it out. We
Yeah,
deserve our own autonomy.
was that your final?
Okay, I'm gonna end Afro. I'm sorry, I get on the road. So when is the next time you're coming back? Because I don't know if they're getting it. And it's just a lot of erasure going on here in New York. Stop saying we're not here, we're here. And the people that descend from those who were enslaved here are still here. We could put a name on it. If you can't put a name on it, then don't use it in your hypotheses. Thank you. Go ahead, Afro.
Okay. All right. What I want to do, I want to have another one tomorrow. I got to see exactly.
He said tomorrow I don't get a break. Don't they? They better not come in here making me scream at them, Afro. They better come in here with some
I said I want
understanding.
to. I didn't say
Okay.
that. I said I want to because Thursday is gonna be a pretty busy day for me Thursday. You know, so I'll keep you up to date. I need to talk to you later on anyway, but I'll keep you up to date
Mm-hmm.
on that. I'll keep
Okay.
you up to date on if it's tomorrow. If it is tomorrow, it would have to be kind of during the day ish, the afternoon ish. It wouldn't be this late.
Oh my God. Am I
Um,
in trouble? You're like the parent. I got to talk to you later. You know, your report
no,
card came in. I got to
no,
talk to you
no,
later.
no,
Okay, okay.
no. But yeah, either that or because Thursday, I'm probably not going to be able to have the time to do that. So I'll let you know. But yeah, I definitely want us to keep our schedule back up. What's the topic? We'll see. We'll discuss that. We kind of go with the vibe of the community, kind of. If we don't have anything set in mind, so we'll see. But you guys need to follow For the Culture. You see the shirt For the Culture? You see the shirt For the Culture? Y'all see it?
My shirt came in, y'all. I didn't get for the culture,
Ah,
though.
that's
I got
great.
the Black American Heritage one, yup.
Yep, that's great. All right, cool. Okay.
You know, oh, Afro. Wait. I'm sorry to cut you off. Somebody is noticing that you need more mods. You do have mods. They don't show up. Besides
Yeah.
nobody, I would say get rid of the others and pick normal presences that are always here.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll talk to you about that. That way we can discuss who still needs to be a mod. I was looking at that the other day. Who still needs to be a mod? Because when we first started, I made some people mods, and I ain't seen them in months. So we'll discuss that. But got to get off here. Got some things to do. I will be BX if you're up. I'll be calling you later. We can talk then if you're available.
Oh,
All right.
I'm up and I'm available. If I'm on the panel, I can always take a call. Everybody knows when Afro Leak comes on TikTok that I'm dropping and stuff, and everybody's respectful of that Afro Leak.
All right. All right. All right. With that being said, follow For the Culture. Y'all follow our YouTube channels, which y'all can easily do when you go follow For the Culture. Y'all can follow our individual TikTok live. That way you TikTok pages. That way you don't miss out on any of our TikTok lives going forward. All right. Y'all have a good night, family. This has been a great conversation. Y'all